All right, welcome back to Finding Truth podcast here on Unscripted Truth TV on YouTube. Logan here with Austin. And this week, we'll be talking about some interesting things. Hopefully, we have our recurring only guest that we've ever had and our favorite guest, not just because we've only had one, but awesome guy. Hopefully, King Richard's here to join us. I always feel bad like hyping it up, but it's an intro. So it's like the plan is to have him. Sometimes it doesn't work out. So it's kind of weird. I can't go in the back and change it. But either way, hopefully he's here tonight, and we'll be discussing a lot of the Kirk mania that's been going on, and he's been breaking it down, since it happened with just crazy uh, amounts of information and facts and decodes about it, along with Zach as well. But between those two, if you were to just watch those two channels, I mean, you would not be confused about the nature of what the actual thing itself. You wouldn't be confused about the thing itself. You might be confused about why or how even, but for sure you would know, what really, is taking place, and that is, ritualistic that we cover here as well. Um, but yeah, so hopefully we have King Richard. Of course, we're going to cover the NASCAR race. We had our first big Ford win of the playoffs, and we've been talking about it. The dark horse, and there he is. I've been espousing his name for weeks in a row now, only for him to pick up the fourth win of the playoffs. And I don't know, man. You guys you might just want to pencil him in. I don't know. I just see this narrative building so smoothly to where it's like, yeah, they could trample it all at the end. But as of right now, it's not saying to bet the house, but you know, there's something going on. I mean, after our perfect Toyota call, our perfect Chris Bell call, I don't know. We didn't give a definitive pick last week, but we covered a few different narratives, and some of our overwhelming narratives for the playoffs, and this just kind of further cements one. So I'm not going to sit here and say we got to win this week, but it's a win for one of our narratives. But without me yapping everybody's head off for the first 10 minutes, how's it going, Austin?
Yeah, well, we are finally in fall, so that's a interesting time of year. It's an interesting concept in itself. But yeah, welcome to autumn, everybody. Welcome to the pre-winter, if you want to call it that. But yeah, it was almost a year ago. It was, I think, September 22nd last year we did episode 1. It was September 29th we did episode 2. So yeah, a year. Last week was the 52. That was the 52 for there's 52 weeks in a year, so it's kind of celebrating the 1 year last episode. But yeah, it's just it's crazy. Another week has gone by, and yeah, it's kind of just I mean, the weather has been pretty nice. Supposed to be still pretty nice for like the next couple weeks into October too. So I guess like the 70s and stuff are kind of staying around, or warmer, sunnier temps and stuff like that. So it's kind of nice there. Other than that, not too much to say. Just kind of been kind of the same place as last week. Still not sure about my work and job and stuff coming up. So that might be the topic of next week for episode 54, because I might actually be unemployed then. I don't even know. I might not have a job. I have no idea. It's been kind of a wild week in some ways. It just kind of tired me, wore me out, and I just kind of really was not feeling it this week. Just kind of body's been just kind of feeling like crap. Shoulder's been all messed up, so I've been working on that. It's been just feeling tired, just almost sick to my stomach. My head's just been spinning, just dealing with a lot of just bullshit right now and trying to just get through it. So it's kind of the way this week went. It wasn't really, I didn't really have time for much to look anything, or like I even felt like I did. It's kind of just want to just lay there really. But um, yeah, I'm glad this week's over. I'm looking forward to this next upcoming week to see how it actually does play out. And, hopefully October, it's crazy. October is my half birthday on the 29th already. So it's almost a month away. And that was the last time we seen each other. So I haven't seen each other almost for 6 months already. That's insane. But yeah, hopefully things get turned around and looking better here in the upcoming weeks and months. And hopefully something arises. But Yeah, for right now, I'd say that's kind of the mission, I guess, mission statement, if you will. But yeah, it was another week where we didn't really have I wouldn't say a more call or prediction, but we did kind of say, we maybe thought, maybe for the NASCAR race, that the Fords would start, because Toyota dominated the first 3 rounds, won the first three, and maybe it'd be Ford or Chevy or definitely someone else or a different team or manufacturer stepping up. And exactly what we got this week. We got Ford total domination. I did try to see if you could stream it on YouTube again, but I was in it for about 10 minutes and then I got kicked out. So I guess they're going back to where you can't watch it anymore on YouTube, or at least maybe these playoffs. I know I watched the first three. I was able to do that, but maybe they're not allowing that anymore. So I just really kind of catch the highlights and kind of see there was quite a bit what it looked like from the highlights of drama that definitely I do see playing into how this season shapes up, and really what I saw from the highlights too. Of course, you had Joey Logano on the pole. I think he may have led the most laps, him or
He was
Blaney.
winning for quite a while.
Yeah, and Barry too. Barry probably had the best car and probably should have won the race. Um, but he got stuck on some different. Actually got spun out too. He got spun out and wrecked from like either the lead or the top five or second or something. He got knocked to the back and he made a comeback. And probably should have won the race. If he had some like older tires or got caught in a weird schedule. And plus, like I said, he got spun out and sent to the back of the pack, so that also hurt him there. But um, really, Ryan Blaney was up front the whole race with Joey Logano and Barry. Those were basically the top three Fords and the top three cars. I look like probably the fourth best car was probably Byron. He was really the best Chevy and really the only other manufacturer that seemed like he was kind of up there in the top five all race keeping up. It seemed like the Chevys all were kind of lacking in behind besides him, really. And then even like Toyota really didn't do really much of anything this race. So it's kind of really just a domination of the Fords. But there was, uh, with Logano on the pole and Blaney up there with Barry all taking turns at the front and switching off the lead. I know Blaney won stage one, Logano won stage two. And it was Logano's first pole ever at New Hampshire. It was his first stage win at New Hampshire. So those were two things he never did there. So I thought that was interesting as well. We just kept talking about too how Logano's been stepping up and getting better, and he sits on the pole, maybe led the most laps, had a shot to win the race, had a probably top two, three cars. So, and he moved up quite a bit in the standings too. Be interesting to see how he does next week at Kansas, since the only car that's locked in for the final eight now is Blaney. I know Byron's up there in points. Logano's looking pretty good. And this race kind of really shaped the playoffs up, and it's going to be interesting, Kansas, because you do have, after Kansas, the first week of October, you do have the road course in there too. I know there was a little bit of drama. I know like Ginsberg qualified decent. He qualified 10th, and then he got spun out. He got like in a wreck or two wrecks, a couple wrecks, and then there was some other. I know Denny Hamlin like spun out and wrecked Ty Gibbs, and then so there's kind of drama and issue going on there with the Toyotas, and that could be kind of the that storyline in itself with the championship is almost half over already, because we're already 4 of 6 races. Next week after Kansas will be halfway, 5 down, 5 to go. So with not many races to go, that could be a very huge indicator, with possible rivalry and stuff like that, with Gibbs and Hamlin and stuff, with Gibbs not even being part of the playoffs. And then it's kind of like Barry today, Barry the first 3 races, just last all playoffs started last. And the race after the playoffs, he almost sits on the pole and almost wins it. Probably had the best car, probably the best race of his career. So it's like,
first thing I was going to mention was exactly that. Just like, what a time to have your best race. crazy.
Yeah, and he was able to get that win earlier this year, and then you just see how this race was like, it's kind of that teeter-totter effect where you have the Toyota's domination of the last 3 weeks, and then back to the Fords. Chevy hasn't won in a while now, so I mean, and I know Larson did win the Kansas race back. Might have been his last win of the season.
I think so.
Yeah, so that's going to be interesting to see how Kansas go, especially with the road course right after that, because that's really going to shake the playoffs up. But yeah, you seen today it was a lot of kind of somewhat drama and stuff kind of building. I mean, a lot of people kind of had pretty solid races, kind of more so what I figured. I know like Bubba Wallace, he wasn't a factor at all. He was kind of in the back, so he's got to get going now if he wants to make the round of 8. A lot of guys kind of didn't. Some guys had a pretty good race. It seemed other guys seemed like it kind of hurt him a bit. I know, like I said, with the Denny Hamlin, Ty Gibbs thing, that could turn into something with the weeks remaining. Maybe Hamlin misses the playoffs or one of the rounds because of it, or maybe he loses the championship because of it. So that right there could be the momentum turn. But and like I've been saying, the beginning of the year, Ryan Blaney, didn't have very good luck. He was having a lot of bad luck, and ever since he got that win, I forget where his first win was this year, but he picked that up, and then especially since he won at Daytona, he's been he's been the most consistent car. And whenever it's time to go or whatever, he's always been there. And Joey Logano's been stepping up and getting better every single week. Every week, Logano's just getting better and better and better and more consistent, and running up front, leading laps, and winning stages and stuff. And you got Blaney, who just keeps picking it up and just stepping up week in, week out. And like I said, with him being the most consistent car with only 6 races to go, and he's locked in for the final 4 races. He's definitely, like I said, kind of showing, like I said, to be peaking at the right time. And that's really what the playoffs are. It's just, you got to peak at the right time in the right place. And I mean, right now, I mean, him and Byron's been very consistent. He's easily definitely been the best, most consistent Chevy. So possibly he might get a win at Kansas. He'll be someone to look at. Maybe if Chevy's going to get a win this round.
24 is a pretty good indicator as well. We talk about these owners, and it's something we definitely got to peek into a little bit more. But obviously, with Jeff Gordon, him driving the fabled 24 car for Chevy and Gordon, so that I don't see that. If anything, I think just with that narrative, never mind the driver, take the drivers away, and just look at we talked about Gibbs and the rituals they've done for him, that the owner, the former NFL coach. Obviously, the first 3 races were a huge indicator that man, I have this gnat just flying right over my face. That they were, that this was that was just a huge ritual for him, a 3-peat for his garage, as well as the Toyota as a whole getting their 201st win. That was just, it's like one of those things when you watch like Zach's decodes to, like, he's so used to this, and he'll look ahead and he'll be able to see these like results for the future, for the next 3 games, in order for somebody to get their 60th win, or things of that nature, in order to try to like hone in on like a 3-peat or something like that. Like, this is where I think like that would have been I mean, we did call it out, but at the same time, like, we could have cemented it, had we known like the full ritual. It was probably, I'm sure it was a landmark win for Gibbs, on top of it being the 201st win for Toyota. So my whole point behind that was just looking ahead. Say it was 4, 5, 6 races ago, we could have been like, hey, at this time Toyota could get their 201st win. That would have been which I believe, the first time I saw the 200, them being, which was the race before they got it, the 3-peat with Bell. was through a viewer comment. So shout out to whoever left that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but certainly a welcomed addition to our research, and it ended up, paying huge dividends. And I think I said it last week, throw a couple bucks, throw a few bucks on every Toyota in the playoffs, and I'm sure you'd have been fine, especially with Bell, because I think I didn't go look at the odds, but I know he pulled 10th or something. He wasn't like up there on the polls. So it could have been last week if you were to could have made some scratch off of him potentially. But yeah, we talk about the dark horse. We've been, if you've been following us every week, my personal pick, and I think, it's not just my personal pick. It's my personal it's technically off of your assessment for Fords because I was still learning NASCAR and you were telling me all the ins and outs about it, but you talked to me about how the Fords can get their four Pete, and I guarantee you if that happens, the first headline with Scott Van Pelt will be Ford Pete, and there'll be all sorts of little puns they can make with that. But also we've been noticing the trends too, and you mentioned with Logano, I think I've potentially mentioned before that he's one of the other guys that is up there with like the divas of NASCAR. It's like Larson, Blaney. I'll add Hamlin this year. I don't know if he's always been that way, but Hamlin certainly has been, just because of the whole lawsuit stuff. He's been in like the media constantly for NASCAR, but really against NASCAR. But it's like I said, Blaney, Larson, and Logano are like the poster boy. They're always talking about them in their little articles and everything like that. So obviously Logano is very what's the word? He's a winning. He's won a lot. He's made his mark on the sport. So it's kind of like whether or not he's not washed, but it's like, is he headed towards that trend, or is he gonna keep going with his career? And it looked early on like he was just laying a bunch of eggs. I mean, he didn't do too bad, but I'm just saying he really made way for the Byrons and the Bells and the even Larson. Yeah, Larson had quite a few wins this season, to kind of shine during the early to mid season. And then Logano, of course, got his win, and now he's looking like he's looking a lot tighter here near the playoffs, to where it'll kind of like sound off that narrative that it's like this experience, right? They'll say it's his experience is going to propel him. It's like, it's like slow and steady wins the race, literally and figuratively. His season was very slow and steady, but he got his win to be for sure in, even though I think he would have got in with points anyway. But now it's looking like they're trying to make him one of the top Fords, along with Blaney, of course, who got the win. But as far as your assessment, yeah, it was last week. It's like, I'm pretty sure it's like 100% the people you talked about is looking like that. I mean, as it stands, there can be a shakeup. There's 2 more races before the cutoff, but as far as like getting a win, you wouldn't like sit there and say it's likely. Obviously, polls matter, and let's say everything is on the up and up. Polls do matter, but Bubba's been just like flatlining. Reddick has not shown anything, and I'm not saying that these are like trending things that matter because I'm in the locker room and I'm following the sport and I'm following my guys, and he's been really down this week. No, it's not like that. I'm saying like it's hard to picture, especially with the first round, with how that, well, let's say the end of the season, that pretty much wrapped up exactly how they had it. The playoff picture was painted, and they just cemented it with the last race of the season. Nothing really got shaken up at all. And it about was what they, what they advertised. And here with the second round, it's the bottom 4, the exact bottom 4 you talked about. And they haven't really been showing much of that get up to like throughout the whole playoffs, I would say. But you never know. Obviously, the surprise win from a Bubba could happen. We're still waiting on Reddick's win, so like we've laid that narrative out there. They could surprise you with his first win coming in the playoffs because obviously he got in without a win. So that could be that juxtaposed narrative. It's like as much as everyone's hating on the format, you could say, hey, well, look, this guy's doing well, and he got in on points. So it's not super flawed. And as we know, at least as they've said, they're not changing the format for at least one more year. So this will be the same format next year as well, even though they've talked a lot about switching it up, and the drivers have been doing nothing but complain and criticize it. They do seem like they're going to keep it going for one more year. So this could be something to take the edge off and show that, hey, it's not the worst thing. Look at Reddick. He's doing just fine.
Yeah, and I think those were the four that we may have talked about as as far as elimination goes. And that'll be something we'll talk about a lot more next week with just one race to go, and that being a road course, what we see shaping up there. I really look forward to Kansas here because that's a mile and a half. I've already been there this year. Second race there. I feel like that one, you're gonna have a pretty good idea of who's in, who's not after the road course there. But yeah, I mean, you look at you know, Kansas coming up. I mean, you got a mile and a half. You got a road course. I know, and like I said, next year the last race there is going back to Homestead. So, I mean, I wouldn't. I mean, who knows? Ford could win 5 in a row. You don't know. I mean, that they could do that. It used to be the last race of the year at Homestead used to be called the Ford 400, anyways. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they
Ooh.
did win 5 in a row, and then they could say, "Oh, see, it wasn't just that it was at Phoenix. It's just that Ford's the best, man." And they went back to Homestead, and they still won it because Ford's the best, and Joey Logano and Ryan Blaney, and they're the best drivers. So they could do that narrative as well. I mean, I guess I could see that, especially if Ford does get the win this year and they do go 4 in a row, but. Yeah, I mean, like I've been saying, I mean, and it was kind of weird today. I mean, really, the only Ford that didn't really do well today was Austin Cindric. He was the only Penske car to really not do that well, so he just kind of was that one off Ford today that didn't really do well. He's had some pretty good races this year where he's ran pretty well and done pretty good. So, I think he's going to have to do real well at Kansas, and other people are going to have to you're going to have to struggle. I know kind of Bubba Wallace kind of he's done real well this year, but he's also had a lot of like DNFs and a lot of things where he's gotten involved in wrecks or crashes or something's happened. He's gets kind of knocked back. And then you see Tyler Reddick, who really hasn't really had any momentum or really done anything this year. I mean, a couple weeks ago, he looked like he might get that win at Darlington from Briscoe a few weeks ago, but that didn't come through. And really, other than that, he really has not done anything or had any luck or really shown anything. And Ross Chastain just kind of been that Mr. Opportunity when he won from dead last to first in the 600 to get his one win. So he's kind of just had that, moment of glory, and that's kind of really been it. He's had a very quiet season. He's been just under the radar. So he's someone that, I won't be surprised to see him. He did win the last race of the year 2 years ago, and Ryan Blaney won the championship. So we could see that again. He could win that race, and Blaney could finish second again. There could be something like that. But, I mean, I won't be surprised if, Chastain, because I know Chastain did finish second the year before in 2022 to Logano. So, I mean, I won't be surprised if he does make it. I mean, it's just kind of weird. I mean, like Chase Elliott's been quiet. Larson's been quiet. They've been kind of just running not the best, but they've been kind of getting decent finishes. I don't know. Maybe one of them could step and get a win here. Maybe, I'm pretty sure right now. I mean, Byron would be the guy kind of, because Byron's just been kind of leading Hendrick all year. I mean, I don't see that changing. He's definitely been by far the most consistent from start to finish. So I just kind of see Byron probably most likely making it in the final four, just off that alone. But I mean, he might be the only Hendrick in the final four. I mean, that could be also true. So I mean, it's kind of, like I said, last few races all about Toyota and Gibbs. I mean, we could see it. Maybe Logano wins Kansas or something. Maybe Ford goes 2 in a row or something. Then it's going to be all about, can Ginsburg get 5 road courses in a row and be one behind Ty and Jeff Gordon for 6 in a row. I mean, that's going to be the narrative going into that race. Then you're going to have, all the playoff stuff to deal with everything when it comes to that point. But I mean, it's very interesting right now, especially, after this race, because, now you see Ford, like we've been calling, look, they didn't start the playoffs, they've been consistent, but, Toyota's been dominant, but then, look at today, it was all Ford. So, now you're starting to see Ford kind of kicking in at the right time. And, Phoenix, that's, it's the mile racetrack, not exactly like New Hampshire, but somewhat similar to New Hampshire. And Ford's been really good at the miles this year in these types of tracks. And you just see how they have, these teams and stuff. I mean, earlier in the season, I mean, the way I was kind of seeing, the Chevy was doing really good, and you had like Larson and stuff, but they've just fallen off and disappeared. But they've like, even today, they kind of somehow, still manage, top 5s, top 10s, or they're still hanging in, getting there in the end, but they're not really a factor in any of the races. So, maybe they do become a factor again here in one of the next couple races. Because I kind of think, I mean, it's going to be kind of momentum showing, I think, in right now. I mean, it's just been Ford and really, like I said, Ryan Blaney, when it's just this time this year, when it's time to go, when it's time to make a move, it's been Ryan Blaney. And when it's time to, peak and stuff, Ford has been rising to the occasion. And, we talked about it all year that they didn't, they didn't win all that much races. They didn't do all that well. Maybe they did at times, but they didn't have the luck. And there's races Logano could have, should have won, and races Ryan Blaney could have, should have won, and stuff like that. It's kind of like earlier in the year, it was like Byron was just getting screwed left and right. It should have won 5, 6, 7 races this year, but stuff has to happen. So it's like, now you're starting to see the narrative really start to play out.
Yeah, interesting enough too, we have our second casino sponsorship here too. Just worth a small mention. But yeah, I totally, yeah, I see where you're going with that. And with that Ford, I mean, how much mockery could it possibly be? Say Logano gets a win, say Cindric gets a win. Is that a pretty much lock for the next Ford to win? And then it'd be, me personally, I've talked about my narrative. I would prefer that no more Fords win this leg. That would just personally, like, sure, Logano can stay up there and he can be the Ford that makes it a nail biter for my narrative, or our narrative. But I would prefer, personally, peace of mind would be that the Fords don't blow up this round or anything like that. If anything, I would imagine that they'll, just as far as equilibrium here, we have 3 Fords remaining, 5 5 Toyotas, and 4 Chevys. So going into 8, I could see it being 2-3-3. 2 Fords and 3 of the 3 Chevys, 3 Toyotas, and that's pretty much the top 8 as it stands. So so I'm saying I could see that. I mean, that is what it is, right, as it stands right now. But what I mean is, as far as our narrative holding up, I don't want, personally, I think the higher chance our narrative has to play out is, like I said, the Ford being, kind of not down and out, but on the back foot. And that's where I see the more on the back foot Fords get, the more I'm like, here we go, Ford. That's just personally what I see this season, and I've given my reasons over and over again. Got the dark horse Mustang, as you got the Ford Pete. Lots of interesting analyses that we've had this season. It's too much to compile all right off the top of the head, but it might be worth doing so in a later episode the further we get into the playoffs, especially if it stays on the board, our narrative here. But yeah, absolutely true with Byron. And yeah, you make a great point too with Larson as well. I mean, Chase too, because like he's staying in it without, with being pretty lackluster. But Larson's had, the best average finishes, I think, without winning. Pretty sure. I mean, I guess it might have been Byron if he's or no, they kind of reset the standings after each stage, don't they? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they might.
Yeah, I would assume they do just based off points. But yeah, hard to say whether I could see Chastain, Cindric, Reddick, or Wallace getting a win. It's a road course coming up. Like you said, the main narrative that you called way back in the day when when it was still SVG was the headlines because he was winning so many races that come playoff times he could play spoiler, and then alternatively he could play hero. Of course, that would have to have him get through the first round where there were no road courses, which is just a big turd sandwich for him, but whatever. But yeah, he could definitely play spoiler here, which I don't know. I mean, there could be, if anything, 10 races. We'll see how many drivers that aren't in the playoffs win, because so far it's 4 out of 4. All races in the playoffs have been won by playoff contenders. So we'll see how that trends as well. It's an interesting thing to think about moving forward, because I don't know. I always try to think of like these things based on narratives that the TV will talk about too, and I could see that being some stat, some stat that they can build off of. It's like this has been the first time. They love their first times, and it very well could be the first time that I don't know the history of the playoffs, but it could be they could say this is the first time in the playoff format that all 10 winners were in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So far we're 40% of the way there. That's not, it's getting more likely by the race if they keep winning. So that's something to look at too. But what was I gonna, I felt like I was gonna mention something, but hopefully it comes to me. But oh yeah, I was talking about the Hendrick boys. Yeah, I mean, it'd be very interesting to see if Larson or Elliott picks up a win here, and I wouldn't be surprised. Actually, who do you think is more likely on a road course of the top 8, or do you think that, or let's just say the top 12? Who do you think could get a win on the road course other than SVG? Because this is a narrative that I mentioned a lot earlier as well. Is that obviously we were talking about how he can play spoiler, but also he could just lose, right? And then they could say that the winner of that who won against them, that just adds a piece to their resume. They're like, wow, this guy can even keep up with SVG on a road course. So this can kind of propel that hero status of a driver in the playoffs.
Yeah, and he might, they might, he might have a bad race at the road course. Maybe he gets in a wreck or something happens, or his car has an issue or something. I mean,
Not the
they
SVG.
might do. Yeah, because I mean, it's interesting, because like I've said too, I mean, how many of these races are going to be won by non-playoff drivers too, and how many, so far 4 races, 4 different winners. Um, I definitely think we're going to get, repeat winners, to a degree at some point. So, and like I said, I mean, you don't have to necessarily win that last race. It could be a non-playoff driver that wins the last race, and then whoever finishes second is going to be the champion. So it's like,
Mhm.
uh, you got to factor that in too. And it's like right now, I mean, looking at the people that are, like a Reddick, typically he's pretty good on the road courses, and he's had a good 1 or 2 good road courses this year, but he's just been just so kind of lackluster. I don't know what to really, make of it. Does he seem like he has like, and Ross Chastain, he can be a good road course racer at times too, and be up there and, uh, battling for wins and stuff. So, you never know when he's going to have a great race. Like, he won 1.5 miles at, um, Charlotte there, the 600 longest race of the year. I mean, now we're going back to 1.5 miles. Maybe he's going to be the top performing Chevy. And maybe he might win the race at Kansas. Maybe it's not going to be Hendrick, or maybe it's going to be Byron or someone else. It's like you try and pick a spot in a place that's like for these people to get a win or someone to advance or something to change. Um, and then you go back to the Glen, the last road course there was. I mean, it was Ryan Blaney on the pole, so Ginsburg had 3 out of the 4 were poles, and the other time was he qualifies second. Of course, it's to Ryan Blaney, but of course he dominates and wins the race anyways. So, um, I mean, I feel like that's going to be, I feel like Kansas is going to set up that race for so many reasons, and it could set up a Ginsburg win, or they might set it up for Ginsburg to have something happen and then someone else pick up the win, or maybe Ginsburg gets in a wreck or something happens to his car or something, and then someone else, maybe a chaser, maybe not, is victorious. I could really see that race being, it's kind of like a Talladega type race where it can really stir things up, um, keep more drama going, because they kind of got something going right now with that Hamlin and Gibbs thing. And I wouldn't count Gibbs out on the road course. I wouldn't count him out too, at possibly getting another win or getting a win this year. He hasn't won yet. Keselowski's done really well. He hasn't got a win yet. So there's so many people that can play a factor and become kind of, you know, make themselves known or be kind of a drama mama and take over and cause issues for playoff drivers and stuff like that. So they have a lot of leeway right now with what they could do. But um, yeah, I mean, as I look at the 12 right now, and I look at who's in, who's out. That's, if I had to call it like who kind of deserves to be there or who should be there. I mean, that looks pretty accurate. That looks pretty right to me. Who's in, who's out right now. But with 2 races to go, I do think that'll change. Um, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it's like you see someone like a Briscoe or something. I mean, Briscoe is someone who's, he didn't qualify well for this race, but he's qualified really well all year. He's someone that it's like I could see him being in the final 4, but like I could also maybe see that maybe I would definitely think he makes the round to 8, but I could be wrong about him just because he's not, this is his first year with the team. He's not really, he's got some wins under his belt, but he's not like super known. He's not super, yeah, he's kind of like that, um, one of those oddballs in there who's just kind of starting to maybe, maybe next year or the year after he's going to have, more status or more, kind of luxury for his, position. But yeah, even like a Hamlin or something, if Hamlin, I could see Hamlin possibly, dropping out too or something. Like the Toyotas did so good last round, but sometimes you go to the next round and it's just total opposite. I mean, they didn't do all that well today, so maybe they go into Kansas and maybe Briscoe or Hamlin has a bad race and then they struggle at the road course. Next thing you know, they're knocked out of the round of 8. So it's I could see something like that too. Maybe even like a Chase Elliott falls out or a Larson falls out or something. In this round, but Yeah, I mean, as far as different people that could pick up the win at the road course, I mean, I'm looking, maybe it's going to be, and Byron's pretty good at road courses. I feel like Byron is going to win a race in of the races left. I feel like he will win a race. That could be the race he wins. He's pretty good at road courses too. If there was to be someone else, and plus he's a Chevy, but uh, there's other people too that I think could cause more um, drama and disturbance if they were to pick up a win. So it's going to be. I think this might be maybe the most interesting round, because I think after this round, you really can start seeing the narrative, like we're saying, for the Ford 4-Pete or Ryan Blaney or something. You could almost look at the races left and almost, maybe even call a winner to each race at that point, or who you think is going to advance and why. Once this round gets shaken out.
Precisely. And I can't remember exactly the tells from Kansas City the first go around.
That was
I mean,
the Shriners with the 201.
oh,
It was the 201s, and then with Sabu equaling 201 his name and him dying the next day. It was a massive ritual race. That was already back in May already.
well, let's quickly look at NFL. Let's see who the Chiefs play. It's funny that they're playing right now. Let's see. Okay, I don't want the game. So I guess you can't just click on their name. Okay, that's not how you do that. I don't really want the standings either. There we go. They play the Ravens next week. Wow, if they follow the Giants today, that'd be interesting. Doesn't seem likely necessarily, but I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. So the Ravens, huh? So if they win today, they'd be 1-2. They could go 2-2 next week. Logano drives the 22. Just seeing if there was anything that stood out. The one thing I did notice in the numbers, just really briefly, I was just punching some numbers in. Here, let me bring it back up. We talked about that 111 earlier. Well, here it is again. That being Reddick's birthday. Including the end date, it's 106 days from his birthday. Or wait, hold on. What did I do here? Was it Reddick I was punched in? I can't remember.
I think that's his birthday, 111.
Yeah. It's
like a memory game at this point, remembering the drivers' birthdays.
Yeah. I mean, especially pretty sure there's a birthday on December 14th, December 15th. So many that are like right next to each other. It's very interesting. I don't know. I must have punched something in wrong or something. So scratch that. Never mind. I guess the more interesting thing is the to his next birthday being 106 days like NASCAR. Interesting. I must have put something. I don't know how I got a difference of 10 days before I must have not noticed something. I was just not paying close enough attention. I swear I got 271 here, which was I must have put 1-1 on accident. Interesting. Never mind. But yeah, still. Oops. 106 for days till his next birthday, next race. I looked a little bit around. I think I looked up Chastain. I didn't see much. Looked up Logano. Didn't see much. What was on the docket here? Oh yeah, that's what I was going to mention this too. Of course, you have the sponsorship perfectly matching the course. We've seen that several times. Got the 215 match between Hollywood Casino and Kansas Speedway. Let you know why these sponsorships are picked and how random they are. We've talked about that Adventist Medical Center 201 at the
Yeah.
I can't remember who won that. Let's see here. Let's punch in a couple more dudes. You mentioned
I know Blaney's sponsor on his hood today was equaled 111 and 51.
Oh, really? It was not just Menards?
He had another sponsor on the front. Said since 1896, I believe.
Damn. Since the 1800s.
It was like 6 letters. I threw it in the gematinator and I said, go figure it's a 111, but
Libman. Oh,
yeah.
like the mops?
Yep.
Isn't that a mop brand?
Yep. Since 1896.
Yeah, it definitely is. He mopped up the competition, that's for sure.
Yeah, he did. Crushed it.
Yeah, good catch there. Libman. Let's check out Ryan, our boy Ryan. You think I'd remember these? December 31st. So many December birthdays. I really need to go through and catalog them. So just to prove my point. So it's 94 days from his birthday. Obviously, that makes it 2-6. Well, okay, here we go. Did I look up Blaney? Maybe I was looking up Blaney. Okay, so Blaney has his birthday 271 days ago on the and this race is on the 271st day of the year. So Blaney 2P? I don't know. That's at least a little interesting tidbit. But let's see.
I'll be surprised if he does double down.
94 days. That's what I was going to say. What win would this be for him all time? His 17th win. What's the 17th prime? 30 something? Hold on. This is just for me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, let me get AI on this. 59, okay. Also, with the tie-in, I don't know if any at all. Let's see, where's Ryan Blaney from? Went to a Catholic high school. He's from Ohio. Just seeing if there's any Charlie Kirk tie-ins, you never know. Generally, when something as big as the event they're trying to make this Charlie Kirk thing out to be, there's they're going to tie in the sports along with it. I know they've done that for college this last week, the whole Charlie Kirk thing. So we'll see if there's still more to play out. I mean, Zach pointed out, I was in his chat earlier today. We can get into it when we talk about Charlie Kirk, honestly. Save those juicy tidbits for hanging out with us. And King Richard should be here in a few minutes as well. So hopefully we'll have a riveting conversation and put this whole Charlie Kirk psyop to bed, really. Because it's been wild seeing the mania about it. But once again, I'm just leading into something. We'll get there. I'm impatient. Can't wait. But so, and you said Briscoe's decent at the road courses, or was you mentioned? I know Keselowski. We've been talking about Keselowski. He had a really good narrative to win a race earlier this year, and I think there was some drama around him. It had to do with like him. It was like Kyle Larson and him got into it. I mentioned it on stream, I believe. Either that or we just talked about it in the before stream, little chat we have. But he's one of those guys you mentioned that can win at a road course, any given road course potentially. I know he finished like almost dead last. Maybe not. 23rd.
Yeah, I look for him to possibly get a win at Talladega. That's a big race I could see him winning. Go to the super speedways and stuff. He's got a race or two left this year that I could see him getting a win, but I think he was the one today that I think he actually took out Ginsburg. I think he caused that one wreck.
Fast.
He dove over the inside and he got him. But then Ginsburg wrecked somebody too. I think Ginsburg is the one that wrecked Barry. I think he wrecked and spun out Barry.
Yeah, I think that's completely.
Yeah, he took out Barry and then Keselowski took out him. So
any means necessary to not finish super dead last. I'll allow it. Basically didn't finish dead last because this guy exists and these guys didn't finish. So good on Van Gisbergen in there.
it's interesting. Keselowski's birthday is 2/12 and he drove the 2 car and the 12.
I'm sure that didn't.
And he won his only championship in 2012 in the 2 car. So
yeah, I'm sure that doesn't mean anything.
Got jokes for days.
Not to mention this highlight here is 20 minutes and 12 seconds, right? As you say, 2012. So that's just funny. October 8th. What about a Bubba win out of nowhere? Yeah, his birthday is 10 days. His birthday will be 3 days away on at the next race, the elimination race. That's something to think about.
Yeah, that is something to think about.
I mean, we talk about this too. The building narrative for inclusion in all sports, and you've had Bubba's kind of like he was kind of propelled onto the scene. I think he got a win of some kind, but from what I knew about him, I wasn't paying any attention to NASCAR. I just knew about the Psyop fake. It was right around the same time as that whole. Looks like you got Rich coming on too, but we had that Jesse Smollett. He said he got a noose tied around his neck and gas poured on him or something like that, and like jumped in the middle of winter. And the true joke behind that is that it didn't happen, but they'll say that the ones who did do it were paid by him to fake jump him, and they were like Nigerians. But no, it just didn't happen, and it's all a lie. But this, on the same vein, he said that they hung a noose up in his garage, and to kind of like mock him and get out of here, boy, you don't belong here, type of thing. And then you had like people come out and say it's like, no, those are just ropes that hang from our garages. That almost all garages have like ropes, holding things up from the rafters and things of that. Whatever it was, either way, point being is like he was turned into this like pivotal character for NASCAR to kind of hey, look, we got black driver, we have a black driver, we got our token black driver, we're doing things right. But that comes with generally those people are almost shoo-ins to get some wins, because I'm not talking about the efficacy of his driving capabilities. This is not what I've ever talked about in this sport. We've talked about the narratives and how these things dictate where these races end up for the most part. And like I said, I'm sure these guys could drive absolute circles around 90% of the populace. That's not what we're talking about. Just the same way that LeBron can go to any high park, and I'm sure destroy everybody. I'm not going to doubt that. To take even with the the height and the obvious Manchurian status of his body, I'm sure he's obviously very skilled as well at basketball. But it's just like actors, what they do? They practice acting, and so they can be really good at it. And so these guys are excellent at their sport, and they act, and there's varying degrees of acting that you'll see. And think about football. We've seen some it's funny I mentioned LeBron too, because he's one of the biggest floppers in the league, so he gets fined all the time for flopping, to where now it's like a automatic in-game thing where they check for flopping now. But before that, he was getting fines all the time for flopping during the game and getting foul calls and stuff of that nature. It's like, whatever. But that takes a degree of acting, and he's really bad at it. No one's ever believed his flopping. It's always like, oh, like he just barely gets nudged and he just goes flying. Like anybody could just barely nudge like a 6'8", 240, just like absolute Adonis, just barely nudge him and just blow him up. So I'd be looking at my hands and be like, oh, I'm so powerful. But the same goes in all sports. You gotta play a role, and that's actors act in roles. And so the role for Bubba might not just be over. It might not just be the charity one win and you're in the playoffs. Eventually, why I'm saying all of this, I know I run it on, but why I'm really saying it is because look out for a Bubba championship before it's all said and done. Like that's what I really mean, because I don't think they can avoid it. I don't think it can be avoided. I think they need, every sport has to say, look at this. I mean, Tiger Woods, hello. Look at they love doing that. It's their, all they got to do is one thing, and they can kind of tokenize somebody and then instantly say, look, our league is diverse and this and that and this and that and the third, and really it's to the sheeple that would care about anything to do with that. It's like the best people should be playing the sport, and that's not how it ends up being. It's the people that are willing to act. So already these leagues are flawed, and I've mentioned several times, and Zach talks about it too. It's just like, there's so many spots in the NBA. You know how many people you could find at rec leagues and stuff that are NBA worthy, I believe, next to these other people. But it's just like, no, you gotta sign on dotted lines, and there's other things you have to do rather than just put the ball in the net. And even when it comes to putting the ball in the net, you have to keep the your lips shut on the magnets too. So
Yeah, you just look at like today. I mean, after when Denny Hamlin just took out Ty Gibbs, you just look at how, how he responded. He didn't even say anything. He's like, "Oh, we're off to Kansas." She's like asking questions like, "We're off to Kansas. I'm excited for next week. I'm excited for next week. It's off to Kansas. Off to Kansas." Like he just kept like blowing up. These people are actors. I mean, they got some beef, they got some drama going on, yet they're like part of the same team or the same club or whatever. But they're like going at it. And one's in the playoffs, and one's not. But no, these guys are all, there is. They have the script. I mean, they know. You watch the race, how these races play out from start to finish. I mean, these guys are told, where to be running, and oh, you're going to lead now. You're going to give a lead to him, and you're going to just kind of catch him, or you're going to fall back, or just finish second, or these guys are told what to do. I mean, like I said, there was a used to be a thing with Jeff Gordon uh, that was out in like 2017, I believe, 2016, 2017. It was after he retired, and then they were talking to him. He's like, and then he explained the whole thing. He's like, yeah, I would have to, give up wins and back down my lead, and I couldn't have a big lead, and I'd have to finish a certain spot, and the races were controlled, and I have to do what they would say. And I mean, this stuff's already been admitted to. It's the same thing with NFL and wrestling or anything you watch. I mean, it's all 100% controlled from the start to the finish. I mean, it's not like let the guys play and see what happens, or let them race and see how it turns out. No, it's all these guys have, oh, you're going to get in a rivalry with him today, and this is how it's going to go, and these things are all pre-planned, pre-packaged, and then they just act it out, and that's what you see. These guys they're paid actors. Why do you think they get paid millions of dollars? I mean, there's a reason why you sign that contract. You all these sponsors, all this money. It's not because you just you know you're necessarily the best, or because you put all the work and time in. It's because this is what you signed up for. When you sign the line, it's not to it's to be part of the play. It's to be part of the script, part of the act. It's not just to go out there and perform and do what you're going to do. No, they're going to tell you what you're going to do, and you're going to do what they tell you, or you're going to be gone. That's how it is. I mean, that's why you have the way certain people don't. Some people get kicked out, they get fired, they let people go, or they don't have really a certain people, and you have them in all sports. I mean, there's like a Jeremy Mayfield in NASCAR, or certain players in the NFL. People that will come out and tell you it was fake or rigged or scripted, or it was the politics, or like a Sean O'Hare in wrestling. It's just these certain people that they might have everything, but because they don't play the politics, or like the politics part, or it's about who's the best actor, who's the best at it's like school. Who's the best at being told what to do? Because if you think you're just going to come in and be yourself and do what you want, no, that's not school. That's not life. That's not sports. That's not anything. There's certain things for certain reasons, and that's why these people are where they are. I mean, they might, you know, some people sign on that line, but then when it comes down to it, there's certain people that are better at the act and meant for the role, and meant to stay around, and certain people just aren't. I mean, that's why certain people succeed in these things, and certain people, it's like, well, who was that? What did they ever do? Or they're just kind of there and they're just gone, because that's just it's not it's what you make it. It's what they make it for you. It's what they it's a script. It's all an act. It's all a play, and it's all predetermined, and then you're just along for the ride. And if you fit, you fit, and if you don't fit in, you don't fit in.
Very well put, and yeah, that's about as good as I could could put it. And it's just sad in this day and age that you don't have as many people on board with just how simple it is to look past the look at the obvious scripting, the obvious ritual. But I don't know how much more obvious it needs to get before they fully just everybody turn at the same time and unveil the truth to you. But I'd assume the only time that ever going to happen is when it's already well too late for humanity, and that'll be the least of our problem, is finding out our favorite athlete was faking the whole time. But without further ado, we do have our esteemed guest available here with us, King Richard TV. If you haven't checked him out, I'm sure most of you who watch our channel already have, or you might have even came over from his channel, which I appreciate. But we always have pretty riveting conversations. I know that there's a lot to talk about with I'm on his channel right here, and I do watch his videos on my personal account. I know it doesn't. There's no red bars. Don't crucify me. But he does great work. All these videos have been super good. I would recommend this one a lot for the more esoteric things behind the Charlie Kirk thing, but along with the side story with this David D4VD, which it's kind of got flown under the radar. I don't think we might cover that tonight. We'll see what he's got. But yeah, without further ado, welcome, Rich.
How's it going, gentlemen? How's your night going?
It's not going bad, that's for sure. It's a lot better now that you're here, buddy.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you guys for having me on again. We got a lot to cover, man. We have a lot to cover. You guys saw obviously the Charlie Kirk memorial today. That was by the numbers. Couldn't be any more by the numbers. Did you guys see when Donald Trump was sitting there saying Charlie was a master builder? I just had a laugh there for a second. I just had a laugh at that because it's so obvious that they're playing jokes on us. They're playing literal Masonic jokes on people, and it goes over people's heads.
So. And you know what's so funny about that too is I wonder, how far backed into the corner the average fan of Donald Trump will be, when, I've been saying it for forever now that he is connected to Masons, and people will say, right, oh, there's no true evidence that he's ever been a Mason or that he's involved with a lodge at all. It's just like he just does dealings with known Masons and things of that nature. And I'm sitting here looking at the handshakes. I'm looking, obviously, his gematria is very Masonic.
Yeah, and then he's known as the apprentice, right?
I mean, exactly. I was getting to that. Yeah, it's just also the Satanic Church is very Masonic as well, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So and
don't forget he's a Jesuit. He's a good little Jesuit stew, just like Charlie Kirk's wife. Something I found out the other day was, and I didn't know, was the one of the creators of South Park, Trey Parker. Mm-hmm. He graduated from Evergreen High School, and recently they had a show or an episode, a segment about mocking Charlie Kirk and about Eric Cartman basically becoming like this activist type guy that goes around and talks to people on campuses. And what's funny about him is Trey Parker, he graduated from Evergreen High School, Colorado in 88. That's the same year that Charlie Kirk's wife was born. Not only that, but that's the same day that you had the Evergreen High School shooting, the same day her husband was assassinated.
Oh.
And don't forget, in gematria, Evergreen, Colorado equates to 88, like the shooting was 88 days after Trump's birthday. And she's born in 88, and going with Trey Parker, graduating from here in 88. I mean, just what are the odds of these things? And the fact that they have it all written out, I mean, even before the South Park episodes, I mean, even if you just type it in, South Park, Charlie Kirk, I mean, it blows your mind on just how far they have this stuff planned. I've seen you mention that you watched my video about the Charlie Sheen movie about the Shadow Conspiracy. Haven't watched it. I have yet to watch it, but I mean, it's just like, looking it up and then reading the plot. It's just like, it talks about a assassination, a conspiracy. Charlie Sheen. I mean, think about it. Charlie Sheen, Charlie Kirk. And the
mockery too, that he just happens to be the guest on Rogan, another Charlie. It's just like,
the same day. And then they go from talking about Platoons, because I watched it. They go from talking about Platoons, which is his movie he came out in. It's an old movie, but he came out in it talking about, basically talking about Vietnam and war, right? And in that, they called him Charlie. Mm-hmm. So just think about it. You have Charlie Sheen talking about Charlie right before Charlie Kirk's assassination. And then right after that, they talk about his assassination, and they start talking about JFK and all these things. I want to bring up my post on the Shadow Conspiracy because I have a really good post on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me bring that up. Let me share my screen. So, you guys, so I can share this with everybody. If you guys, or if the viewers didn't know, because I know a lot of people didn't catch that. So let me, give me a second here. Alrighty, I think it's on screen. Are we?
Is it something I gotta allow? Shouldn't have to.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's on there. We're sharing the screen. There it is. There it is. Okay. Sorry, yeah, because I'm on Mac, so it's a little bit different. But we'll talk about this story too. We got to talk about this story. This is a major ritual. We're going to talk about it in light of the governor of Mississippi being born the same day as Charlie Kirk supposedly starting Turning Point USA. We'll talk about how that's synced up clearly. But here's my post on the Shadow Conspiracy, the plot of it. His name is Bobby Bishop. You can't get, I mean, think about it. Bobby Bishop, really? But just think about the initials, BB. B is the second letter. 2.
Also, a bishop is in a church, and Kirk means church.
Right, exactly. But again, Charlie Sheen 107, like shooting, like Charles James Kirk. What's funny about it is, going down the list here, Charlie Kirk, he was born October 14th, 1993. That means in 97, when this movie came out, he would have been 4 years old when that movie came out, meaning he was four, a number associated with death.
Yep.
Remember, he died on a day with 44 date numerology. From his 4th birthday to this movie coming out, because it came out on January 31st. I don't know if I put the screenshot in here, but from his 4th birthday to the movie coming out on January 31st, that's exactly 109 days later. And what day did he get shot at? On September 10th. The day we're in 10/9. And again, shootings 109. You run it the other way, it's 107. Charlie Sheen 107. Charles James Kirk 107. So you see how perfect this is? I mean, just perfectly synced. And no doubt about it that this guy was born and bred for this role. I mean, I guarantee you, when he was 4 years old, the script was already written for him to be assassinated on this very day. I mean, just, it couldn't get any more perfect. But again, the day can be written 31/1, like 311. That's the 64th prime, of course. Charles James Kirk, 64. Charlie Sheen's also 64, the star of the movie.
Go figure.
And, of course, Kill 64 down there with 64 numerology. His initials are C and K. C's the 3rd letter. K is the 11th. Thus, it's 311, like 311. 64th prime, going with the movie coming out on 31/1. But you run it forwards, right? When you write out Shadow Conspiracy, the name of the movie, it's 193. Perfect, because that's the 44th prime number. Of course, the word kills 44, shooting 44, execution 44. Again, dead on day with 44 numerology. But again, you just couldn't get any more perfect with this movie. And shout out to somebody in Zach's comment section that mentioned this movie. I didn't even know about this movie up until this was mentioned, and I just decoded it. Literally took me like no more than 5 minutes to decode this and throw it up. But I mean, seriously, I mean, what are the odds? I mean, just to have Charlie Sheen on there talking about his Platoon movie, and then just minutes after that, he's talking about Charlie Kirk and JFK, the assassination, and it's just a joke, man. I just hate how we're being played for fools, just like this story right here. We'll talk about it right now too.
Well, I want to say just one quick thing about that. You mentioned the Shadow Conspiracy, and have you heard about the conspiracy with the FBI? How they had Turning Point USA on their radar? Obviously this is all for show and everything.
Yeah, I heard
but
that was
they
part
were
of the storyline.
Working on banning him, and that's including Kash Patel. Obviously, he's the director. He knows all about what's going on, supposedly.
Right. Did you see what he said? Did you see what he? Wait, hold on. Did you see what he said in his when he's basically saying like we've got him, we got the shooter? Did you see what he said?
I don't know if I know the direct quote.
I'll see you in Valhalla. You got to check that out. But it's
what?
Just like, huh?
He said, "We'll see you in Valhalla."
Yeah. It was really going viral, and it's like, okay, that should just let you know. You have
a Hindu talking about Norse mythology. That's
going
to take a decode, and I have to figure out this one.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, just it was going viral the day he literally was sitting up there talking about that. But I'm just thinking about, I'm like, okay, Charlie Kirk is he even really dead? Because if you watch, they were just talking about, oh, they loaded him in the SUV, which it's like, if you get shot, okay, if you get shot, you're not going to be loaded into an SUV. Okay, that's just not going to happen. Okay, but
there are several inconsistencies with that. It's
yeah,
just like if they were to be taking it seriously at all, it's not like the things that they would do to an average civilian are different in a case of a
right.
celebrity. You wouldn't all this, if
They would
somebody
be on
has a cut to
standby.
their neck,
Obviously,
or
like
you would want to hold them there. You want to stop the bleeding. You don't want them to move. You want to
You
make
would
sure.
have doctors already on scene. You wouldn't be just waiting. Like, you wouldn't be just loading them into. Again, none of that story makes sense. And what doesn't make sense, and I want to share this video real quick. Here's a video because they supposedly said he got shot with a 30-06. Okay, a 30-06 bullet. Now here's a Remington. It's not it's not the style musket rifle that the supposed shooter was using, but it's a Remington. It's a little bit close.
It wasn't a ghost gun.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't have they didn't say it was a ghost gun or a ghost Glock.
Bullets.
Just a joke.
That's what it was. It was a ghost bullet.
Yeah, but here again, here is a 30-06 shooting rounds. Here, let's just see. This is a watermelon.
Yeah, it was a watermelon.
Yeah, but here it is. Here's slow motion. I mean, look at that. I mean, think about it, right? If he was shot with this kind of bullet, do you think he would get some little nick on the neck? No, obviously not. There again, so much inconsistencies, things that don't make any kind of sense, and nobody questions it. People just
say from 200 yards. And,
exactly, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the distance. Like, it doesn't matter if you're 300 feet away. It's still going to do some damage.
Of course.
So, yeah, just the fact that they get away with this.
Yeah, you get shot in the neck too. It's not, like they were showing out. He just like went to the side, just like put his neck down. A bullet's going so fast, he wouldn't even move. It would have just went right through his neck. It would have blew out his neck, and he would have died and bled out right there. I mean,
exactly.
You get shot
it would have been a graphic
with
scene.
that shit, you're done. You're not getting loaded into a vehicle. Exactly. You're not even gonna be able to move in time. You're not gonna be like, oh, my neck, oh, I got shot. No, it's just gonna go right through you so fast. And you're going to be dead right there on the spot. You're going to
be DOA. That's what, and it would be a graphic scene. Like, it would be a really graphic scene.
Did you see what they said posthumously? The coroner that supposedly worked on his body, they said that there was no exit wound, that it stuck into his neck. And they said that he is the man of steel. They said
I seen that. Yeah.
It's like there's so much mockery.
His neck is stronger than Twin Towers. Then they should have said exactly.
It's like, it's like. And I just hate how they get away with it. They get away with it. Nobody questions it. It's like, me and you guys, we question this stuff, and right away we're met with, this is a conspiracy. You think this is a conspiracy? It's like, yeah, retard. It is a conspiracy. They are conspiring. There is a group of people conspiring, and the reason people ask all the time, they ask, why would they do this? Why do they do this type of stuff? Why would they fake something like this? Well, the reason why they fake it, and you look around you. I mean, you got people in your everyday crowd who are just so divided with this. They're picking the left. They're picking the right. That's what they want. They want that. And I see that. Like, I see that all the time with these stories that it just moves people. And that's what they want. They want people to be just divided, because if they got people divided, they're not focusing on the real enemy.
And that's really, since as early as our history goes, that's been the tactic by the ruling, the ruling class. Of course.
And people think I hate when people say, like, you say the word cabal and people be like, oh, you think there's a cabal ruling? It's like, yeah, there is a cabal ruling over us. Yeah, they are doing this. They are doing rituals. Again, it's why the way they had Donald Trump coming out there saying, calling Charlie a master builder, which is masonry terminology. And then did you catch it when Donald Trump and Elon Musk were doing the little Masonic hand gesture signs? I mean, just couldn't flaunt it anymore, obviously. Huh?
You mean earlier this year in the Oval Office, or?
No, during the
I have not seen highlights of this memorial service, but that's hilarious because they did that before too.
Yeah, I was watching bits and pieces of it, but it's like the fact that they have to mock you. I mean, just they got to put the Masonic hand sign, and just a joke, man. It just again, I just get frustrated because I get tired of people just saying and be like, "Oh, you think this is some kind of conspiracy?" It's like it's kind of obvious. I mean, it's kind of obvious they're putting it in your face, and it's a secret society. I mean, obviously they're not going to tell you straight up what it means. These are things you have to go and actually look for, instead of that's what's wrong with America too. People just don't know how to look into shit, or just everybody has a smartphone, but nobody bothers to look into anything. I mean, it's just pathetic.
But it's just too. It's like, look at who people are following. I mean, people want to right. People make a big deal about this guy, but look at this guy. I mean, what's he doing? He's pushing politics like it's
Exactly.
real. He's pushing the left, right. I mean, he's promoting Trump.
And they were calling him a martyr.
What just happened a year ago? A fake assassination with this guy. You're promoting and pushing a guy who just got fake assassinated 14 months ago, only for it happened to you. And people don't see that.
Hey,
they don't.
And you know what? That could have been some kind of foreshadowing. That could have been a lot of foreshadowing to come. So, yeah.
I mean, the similarities are they're undeniable. You have another guy on a roof, obviously able to be seen. You have this event that's set up, months in advance for him to come to this college campus, yet there's no scouting of the area. When go to a college campus,
no Secret Service,
people who
nothing.
go to college. Yeah, I've seen people go to college campuses. They bring the Secret Service. If you're a keynote,
they bring security. They're armed.
Security, never mind Secret Service. Yeah, obviously, if it's a politician,
they'll have security. He's just walking around free.
No roof sweeps, and you're doing an outdoor event. Okay,
exactly.
But yet you have all these guys, these security detail doing hand gestures, perfectly syncing up the shot, and that's right now what Kash Patel is arguing. He's like, I'm looking into it. Oh, I'm sure Pam Bondi, it's on your desk.
You know what's a joke is they have Kash Patel, the Indian guy, in there giving you the details of the 33-hour manhunt. Just on the anniversary of 9/11. I mean, just a joke when it was blamed on people of his color. Just it's a joke. It's a fucking joke, and people don't get it. It's just like, wow, it's like, and then you point this out to people, and they're like, again, they just give you the deer in the headlights look, So
also his name here, if you guys want to keep going, there's something about his name as well, what it means.
You know what's funny about it here? The shooting, right? The shooting of Charlie Kirk. That was 197 days after his 45th birthday. That was just the 45th prime. And his real name in gematria equates to 45. Utah is the 45th state in order of statehood, and Donald Trump was once number 45. And just think about the numbers 45 and 47. He was once number 45. He's now number 47. The number 45 breaks down to 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. When you add it together, right? It's the 9 triangular number. 45 is a 9 triangular number, right? And then number 47, 4 plus 7, 11. So just think about it. 9. So thus it's 9/11. Yep. And you're getting the story of the supposed shooter getting caught on September 11th, the day we're in the 11/9 or 9/11. Don't forget, in gematria, Donald equals 119. Here we are in the 119th Congress. Yep. And don't forget, tarot cards is 119. The top cards of tarot cards are Trump cards. He's Donald Trump. The economy's trumping. It's just a joke, a national mockery. You got all this Civil War talk.
Yeah, another Masonic connection too with that 47, with the Masonic. Obviously, the 47th problem of Euclid, but also they keep their compass at 47 degrees on their logo as well. So.
And that capital G, right? That capital G that's in their logo, in the Masonic logo, couple of meanings. A lot of people say it's the Hebrew alphabet, the Gimel, which is kind of funny because Gimel in gematria equates to 31. Charlie Kirk dead at age 31, but
mocked by Kimmel afterwards too, out of the Masonic temple.
Yeah, exactly. You have Jimmy Kimmel, the Gimel. I mean, just exactly. Broadcasting out of the Masonic lodge there in Hollywood, just a joke. I mean, give me a break. But a lot of people say it means for geometry, which it does. That is interesting too, because the capital G, geometry, gematria, again, the instruments of geometry around it. I mean, that is kind of interesting. But yeah, a lot of people say it's for geometry. A lot of people say it's for God, because in order to be a Mason, you have to believe in God and
a God.
Yeah, exactly, a God. Right. So Yeah, I mean, it's just a joke. There's just so many things, but it's just like the reason why I'm like I remember all this type of stuff is because like I literally document this shit over and over and over and
Mhm.
over, and it's just like I know all this stuff. So it's like it's like people ask me like all the time, Rich, how do you remember all this stuff? It's like because I do this every
It's
day. I'm
practice,
documenting every
retention.
day, huh?
It's practice and retention, dude.
Right,
It's just
right,
like it's especially when it comes to stuff like math. It's like how you get better at math is by doing it a bunch, is by practice. You know, just like anything really, but especially when it comes to like memory based things, it's like
right.
you unlock a part of your brain when you focus on doing this kind of. It's a different
Yeah,
side of your brain from just reading a book. You
exactly.
know, actively practicing numbers and numerology and patterns as well.
Right,
You're gonna unlock a different part of your brain and realize everybody can do it. Obviously, some people are better than others, probably inherently,
right,
but at the same time, everybody can do it. And you'll have people act like it's some like supernatural thing that they can't do, so they'll never even give it a shot, or they'll dismiss it because
right.
they think it's like some like
Yeah, conspiracy. Yeah,
magic, weird
yeah,
conspiracy thing that's like, on the same level as like divination or something like that. It's like,
right,
dude, there's a
right,
headline in the news today. This is what
right,
it equals when you turn it into numbers. What is
right.
where's the divination? This isn't like,
Exactly. It's like 1 + 1 is 2. Like I mean, I don't get it. People just
unless you're
think
Terrence
that.
Howard, doesn't he say 1 + 1 is one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people would debate that too. People be like, "No, 1 + 1 is what's like." No, no, or no, 1 × 1 is 1. They'll say
Does
that.
water make you wet?
Right. That's as bad as the flat Earth shit too. I mean, that's a whole other topic. I'm not even gonna get into that. But I mean, yeah,
Well, without getting into it, the way I take those things is just you should be walking into anything with,
right.
I think, starting off with, not paranoia obviously, but
Mhm.
with not with a sense of, just not being so naive and trusting of everything you hear. I
Right,
guarantee you there's truth in every psyop. That's
right,
like one of the qualifying factors for a psyop is they do infuse truth in it, because
right,
there's different levels of people. Certain levels of people look into certain things a certain level of the way, and they'll catch those people at that first truth, and they'll say, "Oh, well, they told the truth here." So
right,
everything else is, I'm sure they're just making mistakes. I'm sure there's just like it's not an agenda when they need to keep going further and realize it. And why when I say that, I'm telling you, I say some people, that's 90+% of people. The rest of the people don't even look into it at all. So
right.
uh,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
a lot of people. I mean, 99% of people don't really look into anything. I mean, they
mhm.
just it's pathetic because like that's we all have smartphones. Like we all have these things in our pocket. I mean, it takes what 2 seconds to look something up. I mean, just it's not that hard. But you also got to be careful with Google too nowadays because Google's also putting out a lot of misinformation too. Like if you try to look into something, maybe 4 years ago you try to look into something and you look at it now, it's just like they have this little AI blob or something
Mhm.
written there, and it's like this is a some such and such conspiracy. It's like, well, 4 years ago I looked it up and it said it pretty much didn't even say that. So it's like you got to be careful with these like looking things up on Google. It's just certain things like that. I just like I tell people, who they come on my channel, they'll just be like, "Oh, did you hear about this? Did you hear about this?" It's like, yeah, I heard it from a TikTok, and that wasn't really the correct information. That's why you got to do your due diligence. You got to further look into something before you even, hey, did you look into this? Hey, did you look? Case in point with this, I know you brought up that rapper David or D4
Mhm.
VD.
Uh,
People asked me to look into him, and I did, and it's just the same old shit. He's born on the 87th day of the year. His most famous song, "Romantic Homicide" '87. You know, supposedly it shot up to 8.7 million plays on Spotify. I mean, just what a joke, right? I mean, the word slavery '87. I mean, just a complete joke. It's just like with
and it's
this.
just a crazy story too. That's just
Yeah,
alongside this whole, and it's almost like taking, obviously not like it. It definitely is taking a backseat to this
right.
whole Charlie Kirk thing. Um, but it's a crazy story that I think has more far-reaching,
Well,
implications.
you got
Talk
people
about
just
like MK
not blaming
Ultra
the
and
right
weird
people.
shit.
I mean, you just have like like I see people talking about this David thing. It's like they're not really blaming the right people. They're blaming him. And let's be honest. I mean, it's not really him that's doing it. There's somebody behind David. It's not him doing it. It's somebody behind him. And a lot of people are saying, "Oh, how come he's not going to face jail time?" Because let's be honest. Most of these officers, these police officers, these police departments are fraternal order police.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're part of an organization and David's a part of that little organization, whether it be Boule or not, it's a secret society. They're not gonna, arrest him. They might do a ritual with him, but they're not gonna arrest him, or do any quote unquote real justice. So,
and that kind of these ideas are all. It's almost, you hate to say that you should ever borrow from these like societies and orders like the Jesuit order and everything. I'm not suggesting we borrow their ways, but it does shine a light on, if you are steadfast in your system that you've set up with your brethren, you can go a long way with not that many people. And I know they got a lot of people, but I'm saying they're influencing people en masse, millions and billions of people, with organizations of thousands or whatever. Even if it's hundreds of thousands, it's an insane idea. And it comes down to these things where they never sell each other out. They always look out for each other. They always find loopholes to keep themselves.
It's like police are the same way. Police are just it's a tight knit thing. They're not going to give each other away. That's just what it is. So yeah, and this justice system has to go to. I mean, just seriously, this justice system is not a real justice system. I mean,
it's not. Yeah,
like I've been through the whole justice system before. It is guilty till proven innocent. That's what it is. So that has to go.
I've been there on the parenthood side, and I'm sure you've heard. Talk about how men fare with children, child court, or and that
baby
was
mama
no
drama,
exactly. Man, that was a wake-up call. I mean, I was already skeptical about the world too, but I mean, it's one thing you go in there with like an open and shut case, and they open it all the way up and never shut it. It's just like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, it is. But this David character, people were asking, oh, is he gonna get arrested? No. The real answer is no. Did he even do this? I mean, did he even do this ritual? No, I doubt it. I mean, if you watch his video, and I didn't, the most popular video, which is that romantic homicide, the one that everybody's talking about. What's funny is that music video came out on September 7th of 2022. And this girl that's supposedly the one that got killed and found in his Tesla, supposedly, her birthday is that same exact day. That means she turned 12 years old that day. And just, knowing what I know, David supposedly signed to this record label, Interscope. You guys know Interscope Records, Jimmy Iovine, Dr. Dre. Jimmy Iovine, he's a little Catholic Jesuit, who runs Interscope, supposedly, as they tell us, but I don't think so. I think we already know who runs Interscope. It's the Jesuits. Again, it's the reason why their name equates to 56, like Society of Jesus. But anyway, it's a reason why Easy ended up dying on 26/3, like 263, the 56th prime. But that's a whole other topic. Anyway, she was born on the same day that Tupac was shot in Las Vegas. Now happens to be Eazy-E's birthday, September 7th, 1996. And we just had the deaths of Omen, which is Drake's producer. And we also had a death of another guy. His name was Shakur as well, but it was on September 15th. We'll go over that. We'll talk about that. But it's just like, I pointed this out to people on the internet, just not on Twitter or anything, but not in my close groups, but just like in, my peers and on, Facebook, if you will. And just the amount of people just saying, oh, what do you mean? Oh, what do you mean? How does this sync up with Tupac? It's like, okay, retard, did you not read what I put? I said, she's born the same day that this music video was put out, suggesting of her death, which is kind of like foreshadowing for her death. If you watch the video, it's kind of like a sick joke. I mean, the guy's literally wearing a blindfold, doing a Masonic blindfold ritual. And he has literally like a little girl in a casket with blood everywhere, with roses everywhere. as he's sitting there with the blindfold on, looking at her dead. I mean, it's sick. It's sickening what they do. But anyway, coming back, the video was put out the same day she was born, her 12th birthday. Again, that's the day in history. September 7th, that's the day in history. Eazy-E, that's his birthday. It's also the day in history Tupac was shot. Again, it's just national mockery. I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, I'm not saying that, oh, this is connected. I'm just saying that, yeah, it is connected in a way. Like, this is how they do this. This is how the Masonic order does this. The Jesuits do this.
Now, I don't think that they do this personally. I don't think that they do this for just any old reason, or just to do it, or even just to only pay homage to a previous event. In my personal opinion, I think these days have something that's lost from our consciousness from a long time ago. Even I'll talk about resets and things of that nature. I think that we are a type of humanity that's come out of a reset that never had it. That previous humanities had to be wiped out because they had it, and there was a ruling class that wanted to have it all to themselves. I think we've come out of this last reset, and we've always been the sheep, and it's going to be a fight to not be. But with that being said, I mean, these dates, you say, that they potentially, they're not connected necessarily anyway, I think that they are connected in the fact that date, there's a reason why Tupac died that day. And that reason doesn't have anything to do with necessarily rap or anything like that.
To get into that, I mean, he was shot 83 days after his birthday. And again, Las Vegas, Nevada equates to 83 where he got shot at. So does the word murder. And then he died 6 days later. I mean, it's for it to be so perfectly lined up that way. Again, it's just like, again, how can it be so coordinated so perfectly if it's not the work of these secret societies who, are behind these record labels? I mean, it's not hard to see, it's not hard to see at all. But, yeah, I mean, again, Tupac Shakur died on 13/9, September 13th. Tupac Shakur 139, died on the same day. White Jesus is modeled after Caesar Borgia, But, yeah, it's just sickening how they do this stuff, man. Just same old, 83 days after the birthday. Yeah, Eazy-E's birthday. That's also the day leaving 115 days after year. Again, there's always a bunch of killing rituals on that day. Remember, Mac Miller died on that day, and his name equates to 79. Mac Miller, he had the the Divine Feminine album, which is a tribute to Kabbalah. So, and don't forget, Mac Miller also has a song called "The Jesuits" too. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I did not know that. I was never a Mac Miller fan, but obviously
I used to listen to a lot of his old music. But yeah, he has a song called "The Jesuits." But yeah,
wow.
and again, don't forget, he's Jewish. He's a who. So yeah, who, making a song called "The Jesuits" when the Jesuits are a Catholic Jewish alliance. I should say who. I don't want to get your video taken down, but yeah, you already know how YouTube is with their policies on that. So yeah. Did you guys hear about the speaking about race rituals and stuff like that? Did you hear about the Trey Reed thing? That's a national story.
I don't think I heard of that.
I definitely heard part of it. What?
Yeah.
Go ahead with it.
Oh, okay. So, one thing I didn't point out was, and I missed in my initial decode, was the killing. It came on September 15th, 15/9, and the governor of Mississippi, Jonathan Tate, I should say. He's born. What's funny about him? He's born on June 5th, and that's the day in history that TPUSA was established, right? And they were, comparing these two stories. They were saying, "Oh, how come everybody cares about Charlie Kirk, but not about, Trey Reed?" And it's like these two stories.
Oh, the hanging. That's what it was.
The hanging story. Yeah. Mm-hmm. which is another racial story. And I want you
At
to
a
think
college
about that.
campus too, right? It was at a college.
Yeah, at a college campus. It was at
Yeah.
Delta State University.
Oh, Delta State. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I learned this from you. I watched your video. Okay, now it's all coming back. Yeah, I got that.
So I kind of mentioned that in the video, but I kind of didn't go all the way with it. But I didn't know that Tate Reeves, the governor of Mississippi, he's born on the same day that Turning Point USA was established on June 5th. And of course, that day could be written 5/6 in the majority of the world. Black Lives Matters, 56, like Society of Jesus. But don't forget, that's also the day in history in 2020 they painted Black Lives Matter in Washington, D.C. on 16th Street in Church. Think about it. The Jesuits since the 16th century, the Catholic Church. But anyways.
Well, as you mentioned that too, this kind of like activated Black Lives Matter out of nowhere as well. Right. And now they're
this will too.
marching and saying F Charlie Kirk, you know, it's you know, look at Trey Reed, look at what's going on here, and they're rioting again.
Exactly. And I'm surprised they didn't do that. I'm surprised they didn't, you know, start rioting for Trey Reed. But his real name is DeMar Travion. And when you hear that name, does it remind you of Trayvon Martin?
Yeah.
And his name, DeMar Travion, his name literally equals 59 and 76. Like the words Negro, like slave, like blues, like Rasta. But coming back to the Tate Reeves thing, he's born on June 5th, right? The killing was on September 15th. From his birthday to the supposed hanging of this guy, was 102 days later. And that's funny because the university, Delta State University, it will turn 102 years old in February 19th of 2026. Delta State University will turn 102 years old. That means right now it's in its 102nd year of existence. But this number, you know, 102 is a big number, big boss number with the, you know, stamping all over black people, you know. Black History Month, it was recognized on February 2nd. They were in 10/2 in the year 76. But Delta State University, all right, Delta, 42, most simple cipher. The N-word, 42. February, Black History Month in February, 42. It's also funny because Delta State University established in Black History Month, so February 42. This guy was hanged, supposedly, hanging 42. Slavery 42. Tuskegee 42. Now, for the 102 piece, I just pointed out, it was 102 days from the governor's birthday, but the words slavery and the N-word, they all equal 102. Again, Black History Month recognized by the feds on 10/2 in 76, going with his name equating to 76. But
did you see they added another one?
No.
They said they found another guy hanging from a tree there.
Was it a white guy? Supposedly they said it was a white guy that was hanging.
It sounds. I mean, I don't know. I've never heard of a black guy named Corey Zucaitis.
Yeah, I think I did see that, and it's like, think about the mockery too, black and white. Right? You have all these Masonic things. You have Charlie Kirk. You have people on this side being divided. You have people on the other side divided. How come nobody's talking about not Charlie Kirk, Trey Reed? Just all these things, just fanning the flames, just, you know.
Also, you have historically, it kind of plays on both sides too, because this will obviously bring out the emotions of the black community for that pay attention to that garbage, but it'll also activate the people, the white defenders, because historically, according to the historical narrative, I think, you know, a lot of white people were lynched back in the day too. Like it wasn't, they'll say it wasn't just black people, you know, there were plenty of white people getting lynched too. Like it was a popular thing to do. With any ne'er-do-wells, you would just get lynched if you committed crimes.
Exactly, and it's like, you know, Lincoln said, you know, the biggest purveyor of slavery was the Jesuits. So it's like a lot of people like to blame white people. Like you see a lot of these, you know, black guys that get on here like, oh, it's the white man, the white devil. It's like, no, it's the Jesuits. They're the same guys who, you know, are proud of slavery. You know, they're a racist organization. I mean, honestly, the Jesuits are a racist organization.
They were in this country. They are founded on racism.
Yeah,
These guys are the ones that held all the titles to all the major plantations. Now, I go a step further than that and see what it was really about. This is about the land and the buildings that were on the land, in my opinion. And yes, the control of the people is the end goal, but they were here changing the narrative of this country before it was established truly.
Right.
But like, look at, they were the biggest purveyors. Yeah, 100%. They're behind all these, like the beginnings of most of these major universities. There's
Georgetown, the First
exactly.
Nations Jesuit University in the nation's capital. I mean, I just hate that there's people out there on YouTube right now. They're like, "Oh, it's the Zionist Jews." It's like, no, it's not the Zionist
Apparently,
Jews.
it's missionaries that just came over to, to help every country they come to. Oh yeah, they just oopsied and dipped into decades of enslaving people.
Right.
Whoops,
right,
it's for God.
Yeah, I mean, exactly, and just people are just it's hilarious because people just blame the wrong people. It's like you're not looking at the right people. So
yeah, there's 33 over everything. I mean, you had a stabbing in the neck on the train, then you got a shooting in the neck, hanging, that's neck. I mean,
Good
33 neck. I mean, it's all over the place. You can't miss it.
And you know what I was going to bring up? I'm glad you brought that up, Austin. I'm glad you brought that up because if you think about it, right, Hiram Abiff, the ritual of Hiram Abiff, he was stabbed in the neck, right? So just think about it. You have by the three ruffians, right? And what was the story about Charlie Kirk? Supposedly, took them 3 days to supposedly catch the shooter. But it's like 33 hours. But it's just like,
yep.
Again, just these Masonic jokes that literally go over people's heads. People don't get it. It's just like a Tyler in a Masonic lodge is the outer guard for a Masonic lodge, meaning it guards the Masonic lodge, the secrets of a Masonic lodge. So, yeah, I mean, and then I remember I'm comparing this to like the Luigi Mangione Psyop. You guys, I mean, nobody's even really talking about that no more. Now it's just
that's a running joke on our channel. Yeah. We'll say Luigi who.
Yeah. I remember you were joking about that too. You're like, man, we're going to bring up Luigi Mangione again. But yeah, it's just like, that Psyop, it came and went. Now you got this other Psyop here. Now you got people going to be talking about this Charlie Kirk stuff. And it's like, I don't get how people are so invested in this dude. It's like, he didn't say anything positive. Everything he said was very negative. He didn't represent, people want to say about Jesus. He didn't represent Jesus at all. He was far from that.
He is in this community of clip farmers. Throw in Andrew Wilson. If you know about Jay Dyer, or there's a vast community of watch out for Sam Hyde. Have you heard of Sam Hyde?
No, I haven't.
He had a show on Comedy Central back in the day. What was super fun, he was like one of the progenitors of memes because there was like a shooting and people posted that it was him. They sent into news stations that it was him and they ran with the story. So it was like his kind of start was like just showing how BS like news is like, because anyway, all of it was, I'm sure, a psyop way back in the day too. There's a lot of things that tie him into witchcraft and stuff of that nature. Very interesting.
Well, stuff. And then just like these mass shootings, right? It's just like every time these mass shootings don't make sense. It's like supposedly these people that go and just get so radicalized, they'll just go and shoot up a grocery store. Or they go shoot up somebody, go shoot up a school. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. But yet they hate the government so much. But they go shoot up a grocery store. They go shoot up a school. I mean, just things like that just don't make sense. If you really hated the government, I mean, wouldn't you just try to go shoot up a official office or like a government office?
Yeah, we need more McVeighs. Yeah. We need more McVeighs in this world. Isn't it crazy that the world makes us miss Timothy McVeigh? I remember back in my day when radicals would actually
10 days from I was born, boy.
Yeah, Agent 201. But again, just. Yeah, it just pisses me off that they just got all these people divided. But here, coming back to this DeMar Travion thing, because there's more to it. Of course, he died on a date with 33 numerology, and again, Trayvon. His name literally sounds a lot like Trayvon Martin, and Trayvon Martin was buried on March 3rd, 2012. Mm-hmm. They were in 3-3. Keep in mind that's the 62nd day of the year. Of course, the word Mason is 62. But Rodney King was beat on that day in history. He was born on April 2nd, 4-2. But again, in recent times, you had the George Floyd riots. They began on 33rd Street. Now, this happened in Cleveland, right? Cleveland's 33. The word Black Lives is 33. Race war, yada, yada. They're all 33. Masonry, secrecy, order, they're all 33. But Delta State University, with the alphabetic order, it's 269. 269 is the 57 prime number. this hanging / lynching. Don't forget the word lynch equates to 62. Like, reminding of Trayvon Martin, buried on March 3rd, the 62nd day of the year. Of course, Mason, of course, as I just mentioned, 62. But 269, 57 prime. This incident came on 15/9, like 159. Scottish Rite, 57, 159. And he was 21 years old. The word black man is 21 and 59.
Mm-hmm.
And Delta State University, you run the alphabetical order in reverse. It's 271, which is the 58th prime number, of course. This came 158 days before the school's establishment date, February 19th, the 102nd birthday. And again, Freemasonry, 158, 58. Delta State University, you run the alphabetical order in reverse with numerology. It's 127. Scottish Rite of Freemasonry is 127. So, also, and the news came the next day after that on September 16th. Of course, that's the day leaving 106 days left in the year. Black Lives Matter. Their motto, I Can't Breathe, is 106. But for the biggest piece that I was missing with this decode, when I originally put this decode out there, was Trayvon Martin. He died on February 26, 2012. So from his anniversary of his death to this man's death was 201 days later. And again, George Perry Floyd, 201. Roxy Washington, 201. That's his baby mama, right? You had Adama Traore, who was killed the same way in Paris, France, the home of the Jesuits, on July 19, 2016, the 201st day of the leap year. If you calculate that date from the day that George Floyd was killed, that's 201 weeks apart. And again, he was killed on Memorial Day, which came out of the Civil War. Right now, the Civil War talk with Charlie Kirk and, everything with going on with that. It's just like, again, just total bullshit. But again, this is what they want.
Yeah, speaking of that whole Civil War thing too, it's that's obviously been they said the day after the Charlie Kirk thing that it was the #1 trending term on Google.
Right.
But apart from that too, they've mentioned multiple times. I've seen the right posting so much about him, and his wife talked about how he's a big Ducks fan, and like they posed with their
he's
kid.
An Oregon Ducks fan, huh?
Yeah, their kid at the White House wearing an Oregon Ducks thing. Anyway, but interestingly enough, just yesterday, Oregon and Oregon State played, and so they just had their Civil War, their very next game after the Charlie Kirk shooting. It was the Civil War.
Yeah, exactly. It's just sick how they just tie this shit in with the sports, the rigged sports, and again, college and pro, both scripted and rigged. I mean, why do you think most of these athletes that go to college, they go with these college leagues, they go straight to the NFL, they go straight to the NBA, they go straight to the MLB? I mean, just on and on, just the same shit. It's like both of these, college and pro, are both rigged and scripted, and they both script the news, or they both sync up the scripted news with the scripted sports. So I've had a few people, come on my comment section and say that, oh, you're a schizo because you think it's synced up with the NFL when they're really paying tribute to old Charlie Kirk. And I won't forget a couple, I think it was last week or whenever they were honoring the teams that were honoring Charlie Kirk in the NFL. All those teams dropped to 4-0, like how he was shot on the 40th parallel. Orem, Utah is located on the 40th parallel, and of course, all the teams that honored him, they all fell to 4-0. I mean, just. Again, you couldn't get any more perfect with just how lined up they have it. But did you guys see the Texas Tech Utah Utes game yesterday? Big tribute to Charlie Kirk.
I'll look it up though.
Yeah, I mean, last week you had Christopher Bell getting the 201st win for Toyota, so you had that right after Charlie Kirk. You had the big 201 there. So.
Go figure. Yeah, 201. Yeah, the Jesuit order, 201. Yep.
And then, so I see they had Texas Tech win with 34. Interesting, like murder, but the total.
Well, not only that, I was telling people, in my own life, I was telling them, hey, you know what, watch, because I got a family member who loves college football for some reason. He just loves college football, and I'm like, hey, you know what? Check out the Utah Utes. I guarantee they're going to pay tribute to Charlie Kirk. I guarantee you Texas Tech will fall to not fall, but they'll become 4-0, while the Utah Utes dropping into 3-1. Not a Charlie Kirk dying at age
Dang,
31 on the 40th parallel.
Total
And
of
what do you know?
44 points scored too.
Yeah, 44 points combined. Again, shooting 44. He died on a 44-day numerology. 34. Again, he died 34 days before his birthday. The 10's interesting as well, but yeah, again, just so perfect how they have all this shit just synced up. And don't forget, Texas Tech is Mahomes' old college school. And again, Mahomes is 34, murder 34. Again, Charlie Kirk dead 34 days before his birthday. And what was the story before that? It was the stabbing of the Ukrainian woman done by a 34-year-old black man. And I encourage you to look up the Illuminati card game. It's called Black Assassins, and at the bottom of it, it has the numbers 3 and 4 on it.
Like, doesn't have the guy looks exactly like that guy too.
Exactly
like the guy
like
with
him.
the dreads. Yeah.
It looks exactly like him. I even put it on my blog that it's literally the same exact thing. It looks like the same person. And again, they report he's a 34-year-old man. What's funny is I didn't cover it, and I think I think I should cover it in light of the baby, the rapper the baby, the same guy who sacrificed his dad and sacrificed his brother at age 34. Here, I'm gonna
music video for her.
Right, exactly. But here, yeah, he put it
like it only took him a week or so to get all that together, and this wasn't planned by his producers in his studio. I'm sure they just whipped it together out of just love in their heart.
Real quick, here, let me see if I can share my screen. Let's see, I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties with this. Okay, share entire screen. There we go. Okay. All right. Yeah, so I'm not the best at working StreamYard. I haven't used StreamYard in a very long time.
No worries, dude.
Yeah, it's just StreamYard's
I've gone down the baby Biden parallels thing. You know, there's some people that say it's like it is Biden. There's some weird shit going on.
Yeah, but again, it's just like this. This is not a national news story, but it was an article written 2021. I found this interesting. I'm like, are you serious? But what's funny is his brother ended up dying at age 34. He died on the election night of that night on November 3rd. He died at age 34, and he died on a day with 34 numerology. He died from suicide. Suicide's 34 like murder. Like Biden. Biden's 34. Okay. He died on the 308th day of the leap year. Of course, his full name is Jonathan Lindale Kirk.
Oh, yeah, he's Kirk. Yeah, his name's Kirk.
Yeah, 308. But yeah, there's obviously more to it. But here, I want to get to the bigger piece here. Where is it at? Let me see. Save me music video. I know I did a post on it. Here it is. Yeah, but again, just 34 all over it. But again, yeah, they had this. The baby came out and did a tribute to this woman here. But it's funny because it has like a strange twist of events, because instead of her dying, he allegedly saves her. And if you watch that video, it's just like nobody's really doing anything. They're just sitting around there, not really even doing anything. And this guy just comes out of nowhere and just stabs this girl in the neck. I mean, just, again, doesn't make any kind of sense.
I mean, not to mention, the reaction is sus. I'm not going to sit here and say what I know what it's like to be stabbed in the neck, or whether I know it or not, because who knows? I almost cut my whole finger off, and I didn't even notice until till a minute later one time. So there's nerves and things of that nature that, but the video is very strange. I guess I'm not going to comment on that because it's, as far as I know, real enough. But the reaction of everybody else, it's just like, yo, that dude, if you're a real person, that dude just stood up, at the very least punched this lady, because if you didn't know he had a knife, just like 3 times, and then just started walking away, and there's blood all over the floor, and you're just sitting there like, yo. That's that's what the commentary. Everyone's just like, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. No reaction, nothing. Just people.
Here's what I have to say though, is that is what the painting is for. That is what they're painting. Is look at society. This is more a reflection of what we are rather than him or the girl. This is a scenario that points out how shitty we are as people, and this has to do with showing how low our humanity is. That's what all of this has to do with, in my opinion. It shows us. Did you ever watch Dragon Ball?
Yeah.
Or Dragon Ball Z? Do you know
Dragon
how?
Ball Z,
Did you ever watch Super?
No.
Okay, well, eventually there's a Super arc where they have to fight in a tournament, and everybody has to put up their fighters for each universe, because to determine which universe which universes will survive, and the losing universes, they just get wiped out. They just blow out their universe, and you find out that there's like 4 universes that aren't taking place because their humanity levels were too low, so they got wiped out. And now it's like, I know this is an anime and everything, but there's things in everything. There's truth in everything. There's truth in like a lot of the animes, honestly. I don't watch them.
There's a lot of foreshadowing in some of these
exactly
in these programs, cartoons, all that type of stuff. They put it everywhere. I mean, they put their stuff everywhere. I mean, just it's just and the fact that they have a rapper come out and give a tribute. I mean, it's just
it's also fear mongering.
Yeah,
because the story is that, oh, this poor girl, she just lives like one of you. She works a job that I'm sure she doesn't like. She's just a pizza waitress lady. And then she comes home. She has to take the shitty train. And she's just, she's one of you. And then this can just happen. So it's just another thing that's just like, oh, no, I don't want to take public transportation. And one of the themes on Our Channel we talked about a lot earlier on is they're phasing out of transportation modes. We've talked about it because of all the plane crashes. Just wait. There will be some new thing that's going to come and sweep up these old ways that's going to have built-in regulation. Like right now, a train car has a grainy camera, maybe. Things can happen on a train that nobody will ever know. But in the future, every inch of the train will be tracked. You being on the train is going to be known. You're going to be GPS marked because you're going to have your train ID that has a chip in it. Like, that's where we're moving towards. So these things need to keep happening in order to phase out the old. Just like think about Zeppelins and things like that.
They have people, they have people. What do these stories do ultimately at the end of the day? They have people begging for a police state. Keep us safe. Keep us safe. Yeah. So
great point.
Yeah. So, and you know what's interesting? I just noticed that as you were talking right there, I noticed that he's 33 years old. And they have a rapper, coming out and talking about a stabbing. Again, stabbing equates to 74, like rapper, like killing, like Masonic, like a cult. They love to pair the numbers 33 and 74 together. Again, stabbing 74. This comes while he's 33 years old. You could also say he's in his 34th year of life as well. But yeah, and he's from Cleveland, Ohio. Cleveland, 33. I mean, just. Again,
doesn't get any more Masonic than the founders, and this country founded.
Right, and you gotta love how he's born on the 22nd of the month, 22nd. Kirk, 22. He just had the big ritual with Charlie Kirk on the 253rd day of the year, the 22nd triangular, when the shooter's a 22-year-old, and they're saying he's MAGA. And for instance, MAGA here, just write it out, MAGA 22. You know what's funny is how Trump always has the to call him up or text him, it's 88022. That's funny because Trump is 88, MAGA 22. So, yeah, definitely not an accident. And again, Charlie Kirk dead 88 days after his birthday. Trump 88. The Republican Party 88. You had the Pope. You had the first Jesuit Pope die on his 312th day of his age at age 88. I mean,
the hidden hander.
Yep, exactly. Doing the Masonic hidden hand.
And, now we have the Chicago Pope who's picking up, if you thought the church was secular to begin, with under Francis, who was, already, blessing gay cardinals and this, that, and the third, and having, saying it's fine to have trans pastors and things of that nature.
Right.
This guy's ramping it up even more. What do you expect, an American to come in and be less liberal than a guy who, no. So, they're going to paint this, and that's that. So and they attack it from all angles.
Yeah, you see how they try to do it too. You say, oh, well, he's a Jesuit. This guy was a Jesuit. This guy's a Catholic. It's like, it's pretty much the same shit. They both serve each other. So, yeah, the fact that people are, oh, well, Pope Francis, he was a Jesuit. He could have been, he's a little bit more liberal, and then you have, people arguing about Pope Leo. And it's like, you got to realize, again, the Jesuits served the Roman Catholic Church. One's a Catholic, one's Jesuit. It's the same shit. It's not anything different. It's just like I get in arguments all the time with Christians. These Christians that are like, "Oh my God, my Bible." It's like, you do realize that Bible was given to you by Rome, right? The character Jesus. Even though the Catholics and the Christians don't really believe in the same thing because Catholics believe more in saints, whereas the Christians don't. It doesn't matter.
Well,
You guys are still believing in Jesus.
Well, at its core as well, if they're going to have differences, obvious differences, because it's clear that Catholicism came from pagan ritual.
Yeah, pagan traditions, pagan Roman holiday traditions. Yeah,
and that's where Jesuits derived from. They vowed fealty to the Pope of the Catholic religion. So of course they're going to be more liberal.
Templar.
What was going on in Rome?
Right.
Does anybody know about the bathhouses? Are we just going to forget about how fucked up normal Roman life was? Yes, it was the peak of civilization according to history. For a long time, they had a stranglehold on, everything pretty much, markets, trade, all that kind of stuff. And, you could say even to this day, since they're that they had their coffers control the world. But, I mean, of course you're going to have a more liberal leaning group organization come out of it, as opposed to, I guess you could say Christianity, which is definitely heading there. But, even Christianity is a derivative in, this could get me in trouble with a lot of people who, Orthodox Christians and things of the like. But I personally, I kind of detest orthodoxy. And it's weird. The older you get, Rich, look out for this. Remember I said this when you get older. Religion does creep in, my G. So don't be surprised if in 10 years you start letting some of the doctrine creep in, because it's not the doctrine necessarily. It's facts of life that there's facts of life in the religious doctrine. There's things that are going to happen to everyone that they apply to the morals of their faith. That doesn't mean it's their faith that came up with the thing. It just means that they kind of want to be the arbiter of that thing. But that still doesn't mean you're not going to have that point of view potentially when you get older. So, or when you have kids and things of that nature, you'll see and you'll be like, oh, maybe I'm Christian in this sense, and
I mean, there is some stuff. There is some stuff that I do take out of the Bible. The one important thing is the golden rule. Like, that I do live by that, but it's like there are all these other teachings where it's like thou shalt not kill. I mean, that's come on. I mean, there's a reason why they put that in there.
I've been looking at my neighbor's ox pretty lustily lately, and I need to knock it off because that's a big one. Don't be coveting your neighbor's ox, bro.
Right. Yeah, but it's just how religious people are. They're just so indoctrinated with certain things and just certain belief systems. And right now you got people, we need to pray because Charlie Kirk was assassinated. We need to pray. It's like I don't think we've done enough praying, and look where it's gotten us. Just sitting on our hands, not doing anything. Just we're gonna let Jesus do it. We're gonna let Jesus come back, and it's gonna be all great. He's gonna come back. It's so funny when these people say, "Yeah, Jesus is coming back soon." It's like, you guys have been saying that for the longest time, and here we are. So
what is even more funny about that is it's almost like a slap in the face to God and Jesus.
Yeah.
Hear me out. So now you're going to pray. So when something when something brings up your mortality, when something reflects your mortality to you, now you're going to pray. Not when things are going decent for you, not when you get the raise, not when you have a child, not when all these good things or normal things or good things are happening. But when somebody tells you to, you're going to, how would you take that? Say they are, farming, the prayers of humanity. Wouldn't you just be like, oh, no, keep your prayers, homie. I don't want them now. Screw you, bro. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
It's almost like a slap in the face to the people they say they worship. And to be fair weather Christians too is just another, maybe that's what this is all about too, is just kind of showing the more hubris of humanity. Is see how many fair weather Christians come out of the woodwork. See how many fair weather
Christians really are, though. I mean, like just me personally.
A lot of them are.
Yeah, a lot of Christians are just like, they're in church on Sunday, but they're not really good people. They don't, abide by any kind of morals or anything like that. They just kind of like are just kind of like the worst people. They have like the worst attitude. They act a certain way. But as soon as they get, in that church, they're acting a whole different person. So
churches are not the breeding ground for good people. They
right.
should be, according to what it's supposed to be. It should be that way because you'd have a bunch of people there practicing the morals and doctrine of generally good things. It's not like
Right.
they're espousing bad things necessarily. Generally, the morals are pretty good morals. But
then
what
again,
do you have
it's
in
like
churches? You have gossip. You
Right.
have scantily dressed moms and women
Well,
there
it's not
looking
just that;
to.
it's the pastors, right? It's the guy. It's literally the
Yes,
pastors who are taking money
spewing.
from the plate.
Mm-hmm.
So it starts there. It starts
Yeah,
there,
not to
and
mention
then
because that starts a hierarchy too. That starts
Yeah.
a whole, they pass the plate. You could be dirt poor, but
Right.
the shame you'll feel after you just watched 10 people in a row coming down your
just give
pew.
money in the plate. Yeah, exactly.
You're
And I've
just
seen
gonna
people,
skip it
put
to the next
20s.
person.
I've seen people put 20s in there.
It's
So
because it's a competition. It's almost
Right.
like you'll get these people going on, you'll get these donations flying out of nowhere. It's like it becomes a competition. In fact, it's like a
Yeah.
farming thing from these content creators. They know how to farm these guys.
Well-
They know how to get them to gear up, and
Yeah.
they'll see a $10 donation and they'll know that a whale's got to come along and be like, actually, I'm the biggest donator. And look
Yeah,
what
I'm gonna give
they
this
like
person $1,000, right?
Yeah, now they got their little
it's like a dick
crowns and
measuring
favorites.
competition.
It's
That's
all like
basically what it is.
Twitch. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like today I was watching, it live on, I did a live stream earlier. I was talking about the shooting that happened. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. And we were watching the Charlie Kirk Memorial live, and I was watching it. And I was just like, I was seeing all these donations flying, and I'm like, wow, this kind of reminds me of the church. The pastor asking for money, and all these people just lining up to put some money in the plate. And can you imagine how much money that these people made off this shit? A lot of money. I'm sure Erica Kirk right now, she's balling in money. I guarantee you, little Charlie's there smiling, grinning, off camera. Yeah, we got all these retards fooled. They actually believe a 3006, or what was I saying? A 30, a bullet hit me. Like, yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. It's just people don't see it. And it's just like is that I didn't even point out the numbers. I was just pointing out, okay, here's the work of this bullet here. Check it out, and I'll literally play it, and then people will be like, they just make some stupid ass excuse. It's like, well, I literally just showed you what the bullet would do, but it's not the same gun. Okay, I get it. It's not the same gun. It's a Remington. It's not the same rifle that was used, but it's still the same thing. It's still the same bullets. The same thing would happen. It didn't matter. It wouldn't matter if this bullet was in a Remington or not.
Yeah, unless they shot him with a BB gun from 200 yards.
Yeah,
exactly. That's what it looked like. I mean, if you go back and watch it, because I was watching it on playback, just in slow mo, and just watching it, it's just like, okay, they said a 3006 hit him. It's like, I don't know about that, because when I went to look it up, and I was like, okay, let me see some examples of this. I'm like, okay, well, obviously he would have got his shit blown off if that was the case. If a 3006 really did him in his neck, it would have been obliterated.
Let alone not go through the back of his neck. It didn't hit his vertebrae or anything. It's just his skin is just rock hard.
Yeah, exactly. You were saying that the coroner came out and said, yeah, it didn't go through. It's like, okay, so if a 3006 hit him, it would not only would it mess him up, it would be a graphic scene. It would go right through him.
Yeah, you wouldn't have time to arch his neck to the side, I got shot in the neck. No, the bullet's going so fast, you don't got time to think about a bullet or a bullet hitting you. It just goes right through you, right through your neck, boom, and then you're done. You're dead. It's over.
And who are you convincing, though? You're convincing a bunch of people who already believe that Trump's ear just barely got shot, and a magic Band-Aid fixed it. So it's not hard anymore.
And did you the shooter, like the supposed shooter was this guy named Crooks? I mean, just like
that's
the
my
jokes.
boy.
Yeah, what was his name? Crooks? I don't remember.
Thomas Crooks.
Thomas Crooks. There you go. It's just like, oh my God, his name's Crooks, and he's shooting one of the biggest crooks. I mean, do people not get the jokes? Yeah,
and
look at all the people too, like that. You got all this stuff going on right now too, and then all these people that they either celebrated or made a video or something. It's like, and now they're all losing their jobs too. So you have the economy and the depression, and all these people that can't have jobs and are losing their jobs, and AI and all this stuff. Well, now this event comes along and people, celebrate or make a video or something. Well, now they all lose their jobs, and that all has an impact on society and the economy too. So that's all bringing everything down. So
not only that, I mean that is, that is possible foreshadowing to what's to come for people like me and you guys who, we question shit, we question things. We're not just gonna sit here and just take a narrative for at face value. That's foreshadowing what's to come. Right now it's people celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. Is it going to be in the future people calling out these crazy conspiracy theorists? They're over here they're not believing these mass shootings. We have to do something about them. It could be on the horizon. I mean, it already is. You already see. We saw Zach's video was doing 50K, got taken down. It was getting traction. All kinds of new people in there I've never seen before.
Yeah, I saw the video I think when it was at 20K, and I was like, oh no,
I seen it when it was at. I seen it when it first
cooking.
came out, and then when I seen it hit 30K that same night, I'm like, yeah, this video is not gonna last.
Yeah, it's not long for this world. This is about to get Thanos snapped.
Yeah, and then the next day, literally, it's gone. I'm like, God damn it! I'm like, really?
Like clockwork.
Yeah.
One thing, actually, Dale from the chat, he pointed this out to me. He pointed out a couple of good things, but he pointed out to me that today was also a solar eclipse.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? Solar eclipse equates to 134, and so does Make America Great Again, 134. And you think about the whole thing with the Jeffrey Epstein thing. They had the car number 134, the coroner, and Tisha B'Av. Remember, he died during Tisha B'Av that at that time in 2019. And again, Tisha B'Av is 134, like 9th Ave is 134. So, I mean, I don't think it's an accident that they had this memorial on the day of the solar eclipse. I mean,
of course not. I mean, it could have been any day. And I also think a narrative too. I have not seen this yet. I swear if I Google it and it's already there. I meant to say this earlier. I almost want to say that eventually they'll come out with ratings for today and try to compare them against football.
Like the Nielsen rating system. Yeah. Like they had back in the, I don't know if they even still have, was it Nielsen rating systems? I don't even know if they still have that back right now, but
I can see them coming out with a narrative to say that, this got the nation to stop, even when it comes to like football. And of course there's a reason to, like you said,
all day they were just syncing up these. They're literally syncing up these sports teams and games with the Charlie Kirk thing. It was just unbelievable. It was just like laughable. It was just like,
of course.
Like I had to sit there dying laughing. And again, I don't watch any of these games because I don't care to watch any of these games. I know they're all rigged and scripted, all that shit. I don't get how people sit here all day and just spend their Sunday just watching these rigged games.
I was looking up from the TV because I worked this morning, and we have the TVs in our restaurant, and the Eagles-Rams game was on, and the Eagles were getting tore up. And I was just looking up, and I was just like, just the way the camera work goes and what they were saying, I was just like, oh, Eagles are winning this game. Like, I could just tell that they were hyping this thing up before halftime. They were getting blown out, and they were just looked every time there was a 3-and-out or a turnover, it would zoom in on their quarterback,
Hurts,
and Jalen Hurts, and he just looked, and you think about Jalen Carter too. Anyway, and he just looked detracted and just down, and I was just like, oh yeah, they're winning this game. They're about to come back and win this game. It was Stafford looks incredible. He's every pass is pinpoint. I was like, no, he's losing.
Yeah. These sports games are a joke, man. That's why I don't even watch them no more. I don't even bother to watch it anymore because it's just the same old shit over and over. It's like these things, just like the Charlie Kirk thing. These things are just an energy harvest. That's what I think. They're an energy harvest. They're to punk the fans and pretty much spit on them. Just like the other week you had
Jalen Carter spitting.
Yeah, Jalen Carter spitting all over number 4, Dak Prescott, 44 on. Was it Beyonce's 44th birthday? So
I was going to mention Beyonce, Carter and
Cowboy Carter.
Yeah, then you got a little Wayne Carter, another Carter. Of course, Jimmy Carter.
And don't forget, Carter in gematria equates to 97. That's the 25th prime. Here we are in 2025. So, it's just.
Look out for Beyonce's kid, Blue Ivy.
Well, remember what they did? Remember what they did a couple years ago with the Houston, the power outage. Remember that Icy Park? She put out her clothing line, Icy Park, or was it album? Not, I don't remember, but it was one of those things. It was connected to her while the power was out there in Houston.
That's hilarious.
So, I think I remember that.
Yeah, Zach talked about that. I remember. What's funny is like, literally, what's hilarious, like, in my own life is my aunt. Right, my aunt, my mom's sister. She's part of the Republican. She takes side in the right part, right, in the right part of the divide, right. And it's like, when that happened, right, because I was aware of gematria when that did happen in Houston. I was telling her literally weeks before it happened to watch out, because they might be massive power outages in Houston on Valentine's Day in light of the album coming out, What You Gonna Do When the Grid Goes Down. And of course I was met with, oh, you really think that means something? And I'm like, okay, well, just watch, I guarantee you. And it just so happened, one of my family members ended up passing away, so she had to basically come all the way over here. She had to fly from Texas to California over here, and she got stuck here that week. It just happened that week on February 14th that she got stuck here because the power outage was out, and she lives in Houston, obviously, so they didn't have any power. So they were freezing. And I was like, see, I told you that this was going to happen. And it's like, instead of being like acknowledging it, it was like went in one ear, went out the other. It's like, and it's like today she's over here, calling my, my family over here talking about, oh, do you see the Charlie Kirk thing? It's like, okay, you still buying that shit? I mean, it's not a hoax. It's not a hoax. It's like, yes, it is. It is a complete psyop. And if you're still believing in that, it's like, there's just so much inconsistencies. So yeah, again, people like that, I'm not gonna lie, guys, people like that, they deserve to get everything that's coming to them, because I guarantee people that were in Houston that day, and I guarantee if you were to point out to them that type of stuff before it happened, they would probably be like, no, bro, there's no conspiracy. You're just looking into things way too hard, bro. You already know that would be the common response from the average people. So that's why I don't feel bad for some of these people. I don't. But
well, yeah, you definitely can't have the mentality that you're in this to save people per se, because that is a self. You have to want to
right.
Never mind the term save, but you have to want to pull yourself out of the muck that we're all thrown into. That
right.
you can see people at a human level, even if they're still lost in in their headspace with all the propaganda. Yeah, you can understand, because most of us have been there. I would say all of us, unless you were born, unless you're Ruby.
No, I understand, because I've been there, done that. I've been, stuck in the Matrix or whatever. Exactly. But it's like, 2016 was kind of like the turning point for me. Turning point, no nice. Pun intended. But yeah, I mean, just like that was the thing for me when I saw Donald Trump get in there. I'm like, okay, so they're gonna have a Hollywood actor, this guy that talks at a third grade level, and just it's just total mockery. And it's like, so we're going to and I wasn't even old enough to vote then. I was only like 13 years old. So I was seeing through then. I'm like, okay, you're going to have a Hollywood actor there in as the president? I mean, this is a joke. So then I go on throughout the years. I don't know gematria, but 2020 comes around, and that's when I know gematria. At that time, November comes around, the election.
That's a good time to know it.
Yeah. It was right when Kobe died. Right when Kobe Bryant died is when I learned gematria. Now, at first I was skeptical, but as time went on, I applied the knowledge. Okay, you know what? Let me see if Kobe Bryant does equal 41. And sure enough, I typed it in the gematria calculator. Same thing: 41, 113, 157, 58. As Zach went over, he's like, okay, he died on his 157th day of his age. He's born August 23rd. He dies January 26th. You count the span days, that's 157 days. Kobe Bryant equates to 157. You see his dad? His dad died on 15/7 last year, July 15th. And Jelly Bean equates to 157. The word accident is 157. Okay, that's not an accident. So then when Zach was going over how 157 is the 37th prime, I'm like, okay, it's the 37-year anniversary of Bear Bryant dying, and Bryant equates to 37. We run it the other way. It's 26. Then on the 26th, Bear Bryant died on that day in history in 1983. So that's when I was like, okay, yeah, this shit is not an accident. There's something definitely going on with numbers. And from then on, yeah, I just continued to follow along and, learn as time went on. And that was that, But, I was telling people because people, my people weren't listening when I was saying, yeah, Joe Biden's going to win the 59th presidential election, becoming number 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. People were laughing at me like, oh, you really think Slow Joe's going to get in there? I'm like, yeah, watch. He's the second Catholic president after JFK, who was assassinated at age 46. And it'll be 46 weeks after the Pope's birthday. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. He became number 46.
And, just the way they tell you how it happened to 81 million votes. I mean, for that to be true,
the mail-in votes,
you would have to be basically inundated by Biden supporters all around you. And it's just like, that just wasn't the case. I mean, you don't even know how many people are voting. Once again, these things are indexers. These are things that they keep track of to know where you are at, where society is at. It gives them a number of how many people are voting. How are we still? Can we still keep a grasp on this way of thinking to our public, to the public? Can we, where are we losing out on? Oh, the Republicans are starting to fade. Oh, let's peel it back on the Liberal Party, and now let's make them look like clowns, and let's have them have
it's just like with the whole inflation
dudes in the girls' bathroom, and
it's just like with the whole inflation thing. It's just like the whole inflation thing. You got people on the right saying, "Oh, it's Joe Biden's fault." It's like, no, it's not Joe Biden's fault. It's Donald Trump's fault because first he was the president when the coronavirus pandemic, when he shut down the nation and printed out $1 trillion stimulus checks. It was his fault. He printed out the money. He was money printing. So how's it going to be Joe Biden's fault? Joe Biden did keep the money printing thing going. He kept going with it. I'm not saying Biden is you get what I mean? You understand what I mean? But it's just like, people are just so divided. Like, people are just so stupid. Like, oh, it was Joe Biden's fault. Yeah, people calling it Bidenflation. It's like, the reason why they're blaming Joe Biden, it's funny because in gematria, inflation is 46. And, of course, Joe Biden's number 46.
Catholic.
Yeah, Catholic 46. The first one dead at age 46. He was number 35. Joe Biden elected on the Pope's 35th day of his age. So, yeah, again, just more mockery. And then, hey, Zach told y'all, literally 2 years ago in 2023 when RFK Jr. filed his paperwork to watch out for some assassination stories for the coming years in this presidency. And, well, you had the Donald Trump hoax on July 13th. You had the second one on September 15th. 15/9, Donald Trump 159. And then you just had this Charlie Kirk Psyop. Again, we've been telling you from the beginning, we've been ahead of the curve, So.
And there's been several overseas as well. And whether or not there are attempts or actual, high profile assassinations. And I think those things as well are indicators because, what we hear about, me and Austin have covered this too, because we talked about foreign nations, about how obviously it's a fear tactic to keep us isolated. Everybody's isolated. You go to another country or people from another country, they're going to look at America as a monolith, just like we look at China as a monolith, communist. We look at Russia as a monolith, communist. Oh, war, cold, and vodka.
The Jesuits have been there. The Jesuits have been in Russia and in China for longer than America's even been around. So yeah, a lot of people don't think about that. A lot of people make these stupid arguments like. A lot of people make these stupid arguments like, "Oh, the Russians aren't Catholic." We're not talking about Russians. We're talking about the Jesuits setting camp in Russia. Catherine the Great.
You got to look at what a lot of people don't. You talk about Kabbalah and Kaaba, the mystery religion within Kabbalah.
Mystery religion,
exactly. Those have trace back to like Muslim before Muslim was considered a faith, because Muslim came along with Muhammad.
Buddha, all that type of
But
stuff.
before that, when it was pre-Muhammad, it was Allah, and I can't remember some of the other names. I've done some digging on this. That the Kaaba, like that style of architecture, is from that time. If you think of like Arabia, think of Aladdin. And for all you Disney losers, think of Aladdin. You know what those buildings look like? Now go look at Russia, where it's just white people, only white people. Has it always been only white people? No. But what I'm saying is, look at the architecture there. There's a reason. Look into the Moors. Look into how far back the Moors go and what they really represent.
Well, what's funny about you bring up the
Moors were in America.
Right? Yeah, exactly. The Moors. There's also a lot of people don't realize, but like the Black Pea Stones there in Chicago, the gang, the Black Pea Stones, they're part of the Moors. Now a lot of people don't realize this, but the Moors are Freemasons.
Of course,
they have connections to Masonry. And a lot of people don't realize that if you look it up, if anybody can look it up, not just in general, like anybody out there that's listening to this, when this comes out, you can look it up. The Black Pea Stone label is literally the pyramid. It's the pyramid. And again, think about it. You got the Illuminati pyramid, the Masonic, the connections to Masonry. I mean, just again, all these gangs are Masonic. You got the gangster disciples.
And I think the big thing that keeps people fooled. I think what's funny is, think of like crypts.
Yeah.
Like the crypts and tombs of Egypt. But anyway.
Right. Well, and then you also have the Pyrus, which also means devil. So
I mean, there's so many iterations of, think of all the streets. I mean, you're in California. I'm sure you know a lot better than I do.
Well, but, I've been to LA a few times, so I know, and it's like, it's just Pyru means devil. It's a faction of the Bloods, which is like, and all this stuff is symbolism. They have
which is funny because Pyra is the pagan god of the sun, so it's kind of interesting.
Right, exactly. It all goes back. It all goes back to sun worshiping and paganism. That's all what these gangs. That's all they are. They're just pagan religion cults, and people don't realize it.
And see, what I was saying is the trick is people will see gangs as this like male coming of age, like that's where the right is. That's false. If you survive and you can make it high enough, you can be involved in the actual rites, the rituals of sacrificing the kids. That's what it is. That's child sacrifice with a fancier
way of putting it, right?
Yeah, but it's still the same thing. Just like the same thing with abortion nowadays. It's child sacrifice.
Exactly. That's why in gematria, abortion literally equals satanic. I mean, literally 122. I mean, it's literally satanic. Get more. Yeah, so
I guess you could get more because you could have people under the guise of it, just of them not understanding who they are and their bodily, like how important they are and spirituality and stuff.
And then you have this transgender agenda. I mean, that's literally Baphomet, right? I mean, it goes from a man transitioning to a woman to a woman transitioning to a man. I mean, that's what it is. So. Yeah, all these agendas, man, the gay agenda, the second, taking away the Second Amendment, the First Amendment being taken away. I mean, these are all agendas, man. These are all agendas. And that's not an accident. He got shot. Charlie Kirk gets shot in the neck where he's known for speaking out at college campuses of all places. And then to get shot in a place called Orem, which has a lot to do with oral speaking.
Like orator,
Yeah, these people got it all figured out, man. And people need to wake up, man, is what we're trying to say. Is people need to wake up and realize and stop getting emotionally invested into these energy harvesting rituals, which is what they are. I mean, these big events like this Charlie Kirk Memorial. I mean, let's just be honest. The guy was a nobody. Let's just be honest. If we're talking in technical terms, he was really a nobody. So why are we even so focused and centered on him? You know what I mean? But
exactly, and it's just like, and we've been saying too for the longest time, and these assassinations and these things like this, they're just going to keep doing these. They're just going to keep coming, and they got so many tricks up their sleeves. I mean, the Trump one, I mean, it couldn't have been any dumber, any more pathetic, any more retarded. And they got people to believe it. They somehow pulled it off, and then they somehow pulled off this one that, it may have looked a lot more real, but if you really look at it, you can see all the inconsistencies, all the things wrong, that all things don't make sense, they don't look right. And then, what's the next one going to be? And, and just like you were saying before, King, you're 100% right with the, just like how I was saying, all the people getting fired and losing their jobs and stuff. And then, the loss of, the First and Second Amendments, and then the freedom of speech and stuff. And then, people like us are talking about this stuff. And then, we're losing our content. Zach's losing his, and we're losing ours, and we're getting censored and we're not celebrating. We're just, it's not the fact you were celebrating. It's just you don't have the First Amendment. That's what it is. I mean, if someone could celebrate the fact that I got shot just sitting right here, they could be going, "Yay, woo, yay! Austin's dead. He got killed," and then. And then that's just what it is. It's not you're celebrating someone's death or whatever. It's just you don't have the right, and that's where it's going. We're losing our rights day in, day out, by the day because of this shit. People just getting emotionally invested and then taking sides, and that's just where and then the next event. I mean, it's just going to come a day where it's just going to be that event, and then they're going to have us. Or it's going to be people like us. We're going to get penalized. We're going to get in trouble. We're going to be the bad guy. We're going to lose everything we got because we didn't go along with it, we didn't believe it, or these guys.
They were doing that in 2020. They were somewhat trying to do that in 2020 with the COVID vaccines.
And here's the thing with that is it wasn't the feds, it wasn't the police, it wasn't. It was your neighbors that were keeping you in check. That got
you had people literally
indoctrinated super hard and crab in the bucket mentality.
I was reading like stories, like articles on different parts of the world. You had people, literally neighbors, telling on certain people for having a certain amount of people at their house, just because they didn't feel safe. It's just like, man, we're embracing this snitch culture. That's another thing, but it's just any way you look at it, it's ugly, it's terrible, and it needs to be stopped. But it's not going to be stopped unless people, wake up and realize, hey, you know what, I'm being played here, I'm being manipulated. Because I guarantee there's a lot of people, there's millions of people tuning into this Charlie Kirk thing. I guarantee you, even people who don't even care about Charlie Kirk or don't even care about politics that much, I guarantee you they were tuning in. They were probably even donating a little bit of money. Oh, he's talking about Jesus. Okay, I'm going to donate a couple $100 here. Siphoning money, another way to siphon money from people, from dummies, because only dummies are, let's be honest, only dummies are, participating in this shit.
And they're really
dummies are only participating in rigged selections. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say they're dumping their money right into a money furnace too. It's not like the money is going to any, even if it was going to them, they're not sitting there and counting up the money. No. They got the black visa. They got they're not functioning the same way we function day to day.
They live a whole different lifestyle than me and you live. Exactly. I've been saying that for the longest time. These people live
That's why they can't. Exactly. That's why they can't act like us very well. That's why when they pretend to be normal humans, they look fucking fake. It's because they have no idea what it is.
They try to be whenever they try to be relatable, they can't, because they don't live in our bracket. They don't live in they don't live in the areas we live in or go through the type of stuff we live in. You could lose your job tomorrow and you're asked out because you have to figure out what you got to do to pay the bills and provide for your family. These guys, they can just basically pull off the next false flag, siphon some more money from us, and here we are paying for it, even if we don't want to, but we're forced to pay it. So
people say, he had a wife and kids. He has a wife and kids. Like, well, look all the other people that got wife and kids.
Exactly.
It's like they're not there. But
what about the mom and pop shops? What about them? They had a family and a daughter and son to feed, and they were kicked down to the curb while Walmart, Target, and McDonald's, they can stay open 24 hours. You can stay as open as long as you want. But hey, mom and pop shop stores, nah, you got to close. You guys got to shut your doors. You guys are unsafe. But McDonald's, all you guys are essential.
Well, yeah, non-essential is what they called all those businesses. Imagine all the legwork in which I can attest to, because me and my girl really runs it, and her mom before her. But she runs the restaurant that I work at, and we kind of co-run it to a point. But she does all the managerial type of stuff. She works there as well. But I mean, especially through COVID, we're sitting there just like, this is madness. We had to jump through so many hoops just to stay open. And this is about like playing this game. It's a bureaucracy game to stay open. And then you got all these people coming into our restaurant, and it's all like, They at the door, they got their mask on. Oh, hello, oh, I'm so timid. Oh, I got my whole family with me. Oh, we're all so timid. We need our masks. Are you safe in here? Does everyone got masks? Okay, we're allowed to be in here. Okay, time to eat. Mask off.
Yeah, it's like good little sheep. Yeah, good little sheep. And it's like that's what the cabal. That's what they look. They look at shit like that, and they're like, oh, yeah, look at the good little sheep. They're being good little sheep. Oh, the people rebelling. Oh, those are bad people. We need to do something about those people.
I had my best friend working with me at the time of COVID when I was working. I've talked about this several times on the thing. Never has he shown any shred of caring about like world events or anything like that, or picking a side ever like that. But when it came to wearing masks, all of a sudden he was a mask Nazi. It was, you don't got your mask on? Oh, this guy coming in. Oh, he forgot his mask. Hey, yo, your mask. Yo. I'm like, dude, he's my age, and we like did skits together. We made music together. Like, I thought we were pretty relatable on that. And all of a sudden he's just like, I'm like, bro, I can't stand this thing. I am so mad that I have to wear it. Why do you want to wear it? And where are you going to get mad at me if I take it off? What the hell, dude?
Right. And I guarantee you, your friend's probably the same guy who went on and got, pokey dope. I guarantee you got the booster. So, yeah, I guess some of these people are around our real life, but it's just like, I don't let the opinions, I'm not saying your friend, but I'm just saying in general, like, I don't let the opinions of retards just like, get to me at all. I may rant and vent, but,
I mean, we just like a lot of people, it was nothing but a downward spiral after COVID with me.
Well, and then you just saw people got stupider. You saw people just got stupider after COVID. I mean, you really go anywhere right now, people just got even more stupider. I feel like people got way more retarded than they were before COVID. So, yeah, that's what it is. So, hey, you can't fix stupid though. That's something that I've learned too. You can't fix stupid. So.
Yeah, it takes a certain willingness to be stupid, especially when, like you say, you have the world at your fingertips. It really takes effort to be so blind. It really takes you putting a blindfold on yourself.
It's being willfully ignorant. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, they didn't do anything. They didn't force anything. They didn't put a gun to your head. They didn't put a knife to your throat. They didn't threaten you. I mean, what did they do? They didn't do anything. I mean, nothing. And nothing at all. Just everybody complied. It's just amazing.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like I guarantee. Like right now, I guarantee I can walk into my local grocery store. I guarantee you, I'm going to see about maybe one or two people with the mask on. It's like it's 2025. Are you serious?
And what does
right
that
now?
represent, Rich? You in your corner of life see one or two at your one store. Now that might not seem like a lot, but just multiply that by the millions, and it's just like, bro, you still got millions of people in masks, or at least hundreds of thousands. I don't care, tens of thousands.
Yeah,
what the fuck are they doing? I see them driving still, and it's just
me too.
And it's not just like the perfect masks that everyone decided on was the, and before that, people with health problems, they did wear masks. I saw people who wore masks very rarely that the immunocompromised. It's just like, it's almost like anxiety. Everyone's just immunocompromised after COVID, and everyone has anxiety, and everyone, it's just like,
I mean, even during COVID, like I saw people like somebody would cough and people would just look at him like he's enemy number one. It's like,
yo, so true. Absolutely. Yeah. That was wild to see.
Yeah, I see people like I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. I was going into, I think it was 99-cent store because that's when it was still around, and I'm like the only guy without my mask, and there was like somebody in line there waiting to purchase a few items, and he literally coughs with his mask on, and you got people just turning around looking at him like he's enemy number one. I'm like, God, they have people under their mind control. Like it's like this dude just coughed like a little bit, and all of a sudden he's enemy number one.
It's sick, and it's sick. It's like it's because it's like imagine how many people didn't want to wear masks but still did, just out of like not wanting to offend other people too. That was a very popular thing.
Right. I got kicked out of Costco for not wanting to wear a mask. So
so did
my
Zach,
membership taken away.
Yeah. I went into Walmart, and at the time I was still smoking cigarettes, and so I would go to the gas station. I never wore a mask outside. Well, I did a couple of times, but I would not wear a mask. I'd go to Walmart, and I'd get 400-pounders in on a mobility scooter staring at me. And I'm like,
yeah.
yo, I come here to look at you. Don't get it twisted. I come here to look at you. You don't ever look at me.
Right,
I mean,
exactly.
it's
And
crazy
it's
how
like
the
these
world's
are the
flipped on
same
its head.
people. These are the same people who will be like, you're killing everybody. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
can you look at yourself in the mirror? You're killing
No.
yourself every day. Like I'm
Yeah.
killing people. You're
They don't make
killing
mirrors big
yourself.
enough. You'd have to look at a lake. You'd have to be a helicopter above a
Exactly.
lake to see a full reflection of yourself. And
Exactly.
you're
But
passing
yeah,
judgment.
I understand what you mean. Like I got kicked out of Costco because some Karen, wanted to be a Karen, and I was like, I'm not wearing a mask for what? I'm not hurting you. I'm literally minding my business, and you're coming
And
up in
the
my
irony
business.
that she thinks
Yeah.
it's important for her to be at Costco. If she's really this worried about it, she's going to go to a place where thousands of people shop daily
Exactly.
and touch things daily. And she knows that every worker in the back is wearing a mask and constantly sanitizing.
Well,
And then
it's
they're
like
Febrezing.
Costco. It's like Costco is basically a warehouse. So like all kinds of stuff. It's not even just. I guarantee you, Costco has rats. I guarantee you, there's some stuff going on back there.
It's
You just never
unavoidable.
know.
They got birds for sure.
Yeah, they got stuff back there. So you're gonna tell me you're okay with rats running all over stuff, but it's like, you draw the line where I'm not wearing my mask. That's where you draw the line at. Like, hey, you need to put on your mask. You're killing others out there. It's like, no, I'm not. So, yeah, she was being a Karen. What was funny is, she started screaming and yelling in the middle of the store at me because I'm not wearing a mask. I basically told her to fuck off, and I basically told her, fuck off. I'm not hurting you. You're over here in my business. And what's funny is she went and got one of the Costco workers and a manager to come over there where I was at. I'm there looking at the electronics. I'm not bothering anybody, but because I wasn't wearing a mask, they had to kick me out of the store because I wasn't complying with their little procedure or whatever. I'm like, okay, fuck this store. I'm not coming here ever again. So for about 2 years, I didn't go to Costco. I didn't shop at Costco. I didn't go there. I didn't go in there at all because I wasn't going to comply with their bullshit. So, and then the Walmart was different. Walmart, I would go in there. People would look at me like they give me the old angry stare, just staring at me like I'm doing something wrong. But I think I inspired a lot of people because I was like the only one without a mask on in there, and I inspired some people to kind of take their mask off or not even wear it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of the cool part of doing it too. Like, I'm not gonna go along with this shit. This is bullshit. I'm not going along with this. I'm gonna live my life like how I've been living before this even happened.
I was definitely in it for more selfish reasons. I was like, fuck the mask. Looking back on it though, I'm hoping that, some people saw that and was like, you know what, if they're like-minded, they're just like, okay, I'm doing this to appease everyone else. I can't fucking breathe. I'm like George Floyd in this bitch.
Well, yeah, I think about that story too. I mean, that's just another mockery too.
Yeah, of course they're going to use that.
Breathe.
Black Lives
I
Matter
can't
is going to use
breathe.
that as a
Well,
slogan.
people are wearing masks. Yeah. And don't forget, George Floyd died 142 days from his birthday, and coronavirus equates to 142. And they supposedly said he had coronavirus before they said, oh, it was a fentanyl overdose.
And the irony of your story too is like you have this Karen who instead, if it was really what it was about was her safety, she would have been like, oh, I'm staying away from that guy. I'm getting as far away from that guy as possible because of the spit.
Yeah.
But she's going to scream through her mask. Doesn't she care about what her God Fauci said? If you scream through the mask, you can propel the particles
you need
up
3
to
masks.
6 times more. You need to wear 4 masks. You need to have a tampon shoved up your ass. You said all this stuff, and but yeah, she's gonna scream, and then she's gonna go get more people to bring to your aura, your area of infection. Like that's how much she cares about not spreading this.
I laughed. I literally died laughing, juicy. And it was funny because it was me and my grandmother who at the time was alive, and we were the only ones not wearing masks. She's like, well, I'm like, no, we're not gonna go along with this shit. This shit's a hoax, and this shit's bullshit. We're gonna live life like how we lived previously. We're not gonna go along with this shit. Well, fuck this shit. We're gonna live life how we've normally lived it from years on before in the past. We're not gonna change our way of life because people are scared. We're not doing that. And there's what's proof of this even going on? A fake video from China, from CNN. People dropping over in the streets will just look completely fake. You guys remember that video where they were showing all over the news? People dropping dead in China because of the coronavirus, and it just literally looked fake.
I mean, I've seen a lot of fake videos over the years of
it was a joke, man. It was literally a
test
joke.
dummies in wheelchairs and
Yeah.
I don't
You know what was
trust
the most?
anything
You know,
that
speaking of wheelchairs and test dummies, you remember the LAPD thing, the at the LAX, the airport. I think it was the shooting. Somebody got shot. That was back in 2013.
If that's what I was talking about, that could be. I also remember like
Yeah,
the bridge stabbing or shooting or something like that,
it was.
where
I think
they
it
were
was at
like
LAX.
aerial
Let me see.
views and they were
LAX
like
2013.
they had
This
a
shooting right
dummy on
here.
a
I'll bring it up
gurney.
here. This
That's
shooting
so
right
funny.
here. I'll never forget this right here. I think it was. Let me show my
Go
screen.
ahead.
Zach remembers this. Zach remembers this. I know because
And you got to remember too, our minds are the only places that exists. They
yeah.
scrubbed all the like good stuff that was
This right
easily
here.
to
This
see.
right here. I think it was this one right here. The guy's name was literally CIA.
Who did this? The CIA and
The
CIA.
CIA. I think it was this one. Yeah, it's whoops. That's not what I wanted to do.
What they say his name was Chancha?
They said his name was Paul Anthony Cianza.
Cianza. Wow.
Yeah, CIA, and CIA. That's who did it. November 1st. But yeah, this is the supposed shooter.
Oh yeah.
But let me see if I can show that video. Let me see if I can show the video. Where he's getting wheeled out. Let's see. I want to see this. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can play it.
Oh yeah, no. This I've seen this. Oh,
this was dude. I didn't know gematria back then, and I wasn't aware of anything back in 2013. But I seen that. I'm like, is that a plastic dummy? And I was a little kid back then.
But obviously, it is a training drill.
Look at this. Here, I'm gonna play it. This has to be
too.
Look at this shit. This is such a mockery. And they have 62 and 95.
I was gonna say 62 as well.
84. I have 80.
Wow.
Yeah, 84. Jesuit 84.
Of course.
Let's see if they show it. Let's see if they they have the 90. That 95 is making me laugh. I mean, seriously, 84, 95. But you could tell this was literally a plastic dummy. They have a plastic. Yeah, this is staging the story. Just oh my! I remember when this was a national news story. I'm like, and I seen like the footage. I'm like, is that a plastic dummy? Years later, I come to find out, yeah, it was a plastic dummy. I wasn't wrong. My mind was not wrong, even when I was a 10-year-old boy.
These kinds of things multiple times, and this is 2000. So it's like it goes with the technology. They know that people's memories will allow them to remember this for too long. So what they or deem it important. So think about old structures from back in the day, how like they've been easily proven wrong nowadays. But those people, they're not worried about 50 years from now. They just do something for the immediate impact and it works. And so they're emboldened to be able to do that. You know, people back in the 1800s weren't worried about people finding out about their thing because it was as simple as keeping it between a few people and the conspiracy close.
You know what's funny about this?
They thought they could get away with this because people are so stupid.
You know what's funny about that? Because that's the original footage. Because you know, my mom used to watch the news all the time, and like when she used to have it playing, I seen this. I'm like, whatever happened to in the original footage? They actually showed them like wheeling out the dummy, and it's cut out in this one. It's not even on here.
Oh wow!
So I think people might have caught on.
I've definitely seen it though, and the homie's head is like just leaned back.
That was a classic. That was a classic because, dude, I was no older than 10 years old when that happened. So
there was also another incident where there was like a bridge stabbing or something along the bridge, but it was
it in
obvious.
2017?
I'm terrible with time, dude. I'm terrible. I don't.
It might have been 2017. The London Bridge stabbing or something like that.
I believe it was the London Bridge stabbing. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was 2017. I remember hearing about
that. It says 2019.
Oh, okay. No, I remember there was one in 2017.
Okay, well, maybe there was one in 2017. Oh, no, there's one in 2017
That was
as
classic, though. I just got to laugh at that. The LAX one, that was just so classic.
There was ones in 2017 and 2019. But yeah, I remember the aerial views from one of those. And it was just showing people pushing a gurney with obvious dummies on it. I'm like, yo, what?
Hey, Zach, if you're out there, I know you're going to watch this video, dude. Like, you gotta admit that's like a classic level mockery. What I just showed, the LAX 2013. Oh my god, the plastic dummy.
It's so funny.
Oh my God. Yeah, because I know he's gonna watch this video. So yeah, I mean, I just had to throw a bit of a blast from the past. But yeah, I remember seeing that as a 10-year-old boy. I'm like, is that a plastic dummy? And then you know what? Years later, I was like, hey, I wonder whatever happened with that story. So I ended up looking it up one day. I'm like, I guess my 10-year-old mind was not being deceived. I guess it was a plastic dummy. So yeah, even back then, even Little Rich, was ahead of the curve, But
I think
hey,
Austin likes to talk about how there's a certain aptitude for certain people, and I've heard other people mention this kind of thing too. But
yeah.
it's no doubt that when you were younger, you were able to spot these things. I was able to spot things when I was younger. Of course, it took my adult brain to put it together, but and to kind of break out of it.
I'd say I was probably smarter than my average peer. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've always been kind of like smarter than my average peer because my average age range. People my age range, they don't really they don't really look into anything. Let's just be honest. I mean, they're mostly right now. It's TikTok. You got people on Instagram. They just share the most stupidest stuff. I've always been the person that always like been the black sheep, like always looking at stuff. Oh, okay. Never take things at face value, just stuff like that. So maybe it was because me, growing up, I was always, looking into stuff and always, researching things and stuff. Maybe, for some people, some people just is gifted, maybe I feel like for me, it was gifted to see through a certain amount of shit. A lot of people don't have that gift.
What's kind of a tell for me that kind of cements that fact in my mind is 9/11. And I was in sixth grade and they wheeled that TV in, and I sat there, every one of my classmates was just absolutely fixated on the screen. I'm talking
in a
mesmerized, tranced.
Yeah,
I was looking around like it was a prayer
just
hour,
staring
and
in
I was
with the mouth open, just
it was scary. I'm not joking. I was looking around like, guys, what's going on? Like this, I see it too. And first of all, what's even weirder is that, before school started, the first plane hit. So people already kind of knew something was up. And then we got to school and they wheeled the TVs in and showed us the second plane hit. And then they sent us home. I'm like, wow, thanks, guys.
You know what I'm looking out for is 2034 because that'll be 33 years. That's funny because I'll be 30. I'll be 34. No, I'll be 31 when 2034 rolls around. Hopefully, by the time I'm 31, hopefully people have woken up. I'll still probably be doing this research when I'm 31 years old. But, man, 2034 is interesting because 9/11 on that day, it'll be 33 years after 9/11. So, and it'll be a day with not just 38-day numerology, but 74-day numerology. The World Trade Centers were on the 74th meridian. So kind of curious.
And the Solomon Brothers connection, obviously the
Solomon Brothers, Solomon's Temple, Freemasonry. So I'd say watch out for September 11th, 2034. I know it's kind of like way putting it out there, but it's just like we know how they like to do it. 2034 too. Again, it'll be 33 years after 9/11, just like how 9/11 came 33 years after World Trade Center construction began in 68. So hopefully nothing does happen.
33 years of Nirvana's Nevermind too. That's a big one. It's 33 years of that too. That came out in 91, and all these things go together.
NAFTA was drawn up in 91, and here you go with all this immigration stuff. 33 years. So that's funny about Republicans too. Is Republicans are always like, oh, we need to get these brown people and all these people out of our country. It's like, okay, George H.W. Bush is the one that signed it into law, and Clinton is the one who passed that into law later on when he got in to be the president. So it's like, so you have a Republican signing it into law, and then you have a Democrat there to finish the job and pass it in through Congress. So it's like people don't see it. So it's like H.W. is the one who is basically H.W. is George W. Bush, the same guy who talked about a new world order, put it in there. He signed it, and of course,
a world freer from terror.
Yeah, a world freer from terrorism. 11 years to the day of 9/11. But yeah, he's the same guy who signed it into Congress, and then Bill Clinton, obviously Democrat, Jesuit educated,
Mr. Blythe.
Yep, Mr. Bill Blythe. Pass it into law. So again, it's always been like that. And
speaking of Bush, his son, he was my third grade speaking level. He was my favorite third grade speaking level president.
Yeah, George W. Bush was like, oh my god, like I still don't understand. I wasn't even born. I wasn't even born yet when George H.W. Bush was president. So
yeah,
it's just like, but going back to listen to him talk about certain things, certain issues, like this dude sounds like a fucking retard. Like I sound way smarter than this dude. I don't, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but it's like, dude, I can probably put better sentences together than this fucking retard. And you're gonna tell me he's the president of the United States? So. I mean, it's like Donald Trump too. Donald Trump sounds like a fucking third grader, and people love him.
So, yep.
I mean, also Biden. It's just like,
yeah,
he just did run-on sentences constantly.
I think that was all part of the act, though. Like him being senile, failing infrastructure.
Yeah, showing the aging. Aging was the theme, and
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and with Trump, what it is he just knows speechcraft, and so does Joe Biden, because like when he was younger, it was like he gave fiery speeches. That was his thing. It's like not every
Joe Biden.
Senator
sometimes
or
Joe Biden would actually sometimes he would just snap. He would just he would answer responses quickly. So and then to see him be like this, play the senile character, just like, okay, this is obviously mocking, because like really, I think about it in a bigger picture. Like, okay, he's obviously mocking the infrastructure of this country. Obviously, I mean, just just all the rituals they've been doing with him, and then him falling down. That's just more mockery. So, and he didn't do it just one time. He did 2 times.
The same fall with Trump falling up the stairs.
Well, yeah, and then not only that, it's just like the fall of a nation.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Oh yeah,
good point.
I mean, just falling down, falling infrastructure.
Keep our one of our thumbnails. It has them both, like their animation of them falling and catching themselves. I put them both on Jacob's ladder, the Masonic ladder.
Yeah,
on our thumbnail.
You guys remember that crate challenge too? Thinking about Masonic challenges. Remember the Masonic crate challenge? People were doing the crate challenge, running on the crates. You know how high they can run. That was a Masonic.
Okay.
Yeah, that was obviously, dude. I remember pointing that out when that first became viral. People were like, "No, dude, it's just a challenge." It's like, no, it's not just a challenge. It's a Masonic challenge.
You think about these things, and we'll close that here in a moment. But I just want to say these things, these themed things, like these challenges.
Yeah.
They are exposing us. It's so sad to see how many people, like Ice Bucket Challenge broke me. Like I can't stand seeing that. It's viral. Everybody wants to do it, and then they turned it into like a charitable thing, and they turned it into like a. I'm like,
think about those charities too. Like you think about those charities. Is that money even really going to charity, or is that money being pocketed? I guarantee that money's being pocketed.
Seriously, all you got to do is pour some ice water on yourself, and you can get thousands of dollars in your chat. Like, what the hell? Like, that's not going to breed. That's not going to breed a society trust within society. What do you think? You have that trustworthy of people around you that they're not going to jump on that and take advantage of, even if there was goodwill to start with those types of charitable challenge things. There's no way they ended that way. People were just doing it for all the clicks, and not to mention what's really sad about it is it's getting clicks from the 60+ group and like moms. I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It's just
what they call them, the doomers, the boomers. I don't know what they call them.
Boomers.
Boomers,
yeah.
So yeah, it's just because those are like the grandmas who will just come up to you, be like, "Look at this! You like stuff on the internet? Look at this!" And you just be like, "Yo, that's like gay, grandma. Stop showing me that shit."
Yeah.
But it's a sweet thing to her.
My grandma was so different, man. I'd be telling her, I was like, she'd be like, she'd be like, she's like, "Mijo, they talked about the 56." I'm like, "See, coronavirus 56." So I was already getting her on the knowledge, like, hey, this is what they're doing.
Hey, that's proof that it's not, it's not an age limit on switching.
What's funny about her is she was a devout Catholic, but she was like, "Yeah, I see what's going on here," but I'm like, "Hey, it's
she's probably seen some bad things go on then, especially if she was devout. I mean, I'm sure there was a little bit of like, oh, I just got to accept a certain amount of wrong because any group of people will have wrong going on in their groups. And that is true. But especially when it comes to these, like, you know.
Well, it's just like a lot of people like to like, I'm gonna say this, I'll end it off with this. Like, a lot of people are so ignorant that they think everybody in a Masonic lodge or everybody that's a Mason is a bad person. That's not what we're saying. We're not saying that, you know, your average daily, you know, your average Joe out there who goes to a Masonic lodge as part of a Blue Lodge is a bad person. I'm not saying that. Just like I'm not saying, you know, everybody that goes to a Jesuit school is a bad person. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of good people, bright people who go to these Jesuit schools and they get a great, you know, education. I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying the people that are at the top are bad. Like the, you know, the Jesuit Gavin Newsoms, the Trumps, the Bidens, those are the ones you got to watch.
And they function as recruitment centers. So they're going to find the people that are willing to carry out their agendas.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Exactly. So
very well put.
Yep.
Well, Rich, it has been a fulfilling, fun, another episode with you, and obviously you're welcome anytime. I was chatting with Austin before we started, and I was like, man, we got to get this like more. Like, I'd love for it to be a round robin thing with a lot of different people's channels, and I would still love like to challenge Chaotic Truth's panel type setting and have enough of people of ours get together and have a panel where we could all show, you know, if the people are willing to go on a Chaotic Truth and drop, not to make it about money, but I'm saying they're willing to pull out of their money and like chat, thinking that these people care about what these people are just and like
that's why I don't go on there. I don't go on Chaotic.
No, exactly.
Because
but if we can present something
is totally sold out, and not to mention, I found that he's part of a fraternity, so it doesn't make me, you know, it makes me question.
Like, you know, I'm not trying to be any kind of way. I'm just saying my perception.
Chaotic spoons, yeah.
I have
that dude is a total coon. I mean, I'm sorry, but he is. I mean, just sold out. And I don't even think he believes half of that shit, because there's a video from ages ago, I think from 2018, where he's talking about black nationality or black nationalism. So it's like you went from talking about black nationalism to now you hate all black people.
You know what it might even be? It might even be real time. This is the script for people. Like, they love doing this. Like, what they'll do is like they'll use their past, they build up their past, and then they flip the script and they'll say, like, because they sat in that side of the aisle, they got to see all the things that were wrong with it, and that's why they're here now, and they become an authority on things. Like, think of Candace Owens and everything, and she's more like conservative now, but she was completely liberal at first.
She used to be a complete liberal back in the day.
Liberal, but still shilling for tech. She was shilling for tech companies a long time. She was shilling for a tech. Dude, it's creepy. I'll have to dig up that video. I'll show you one of the first videos she was ever in. It's so creepy, bro.
It's just like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was a lifelong Democrat before he ran for president and became a Republican. Yeah, just like Ronald Reagan, the same thing. So, yeah, all these agents, they always have their little field agents around. I guarantee you, again, Chaotic Truth is another field agent they have just there, you know, having people, you know, fall into the divide. That dude is not, you know, I don't even waste my time with that guy, because that dude, I already know what he's all about. He's there to just get money, put people down, troll, and that's it, you know. So
that's what I'm saying. We need a panel that is willing to write. I mean, even think about the Raging Tomato panel that Andrew Wilson and
look at Destiny, the big YouTuber. He has people like talking like just oh my god, just saying the most stupidest shit. These people get to get propped up by the machine, but us truth speakers, we get shadow banned, taken off platforms. It's just backwards, man. But again, it's just like with this Charlie Kirk thing. They want people. They're pushing, like you see right now. They're pushing this. The people on the left and the people on the right. You got people calling for, you know, people to celebrate it. You got people saying, "Oh, these people should be fired." You know, just it's all part of the divide, and they got people under their thumb.
We could go for another 2 hours, because it's just percolating to me. We're just wanting to go off again, but I do feel like this is a good spot to pick to end it. You brought a great decode. We had a pretty riveting conversation.
Right.
Again, guys, check out King Richard if you haven't already. Like I said, there's probably a lot of crossover already, but if you haven't checked him out, please do. He's put out great videos on this Charlie Kirk thing. It's all the rage. So if you're looking for any concise,
and subscribe to Zach too. I mean, a lot of people, I guarantee there's a lot of people out there who don't like me because of what I say or because of how I say things. But it's like, okay, if you don't like how I'm saying it, check out Zach. He might have something I don't have.
Yeah.
So
also, I would suggest stop being offended by what people say, and take.
That's another thing too. People need to stop getting so offended. Yeah, exactly. That's not helping the cause. That's just adding fuel to the flame. So, yeah, that definitely needs to stop. People need to stop being so soft. So,
gotta get back to the hard world, the good old hard days.
Yeah, people weren't so offended. Like back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of people back then weren't so offended as if people right now. People are so
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Never hurt. Yeah.
We're at the part of the parable where the soft men are creating the hard times, right?
Yep. There's that old saying. What's that old saying? Soft men create hard times.
It's like good men make, or strong men make good times. Good times produce weak men. Weak men make hard times.
Yeah. Yep.
Come full circle.
Yep. Indeed.
Just like this episode. So thanks for sticking around to the end. If you guys made it here, obviously, go check out Zach. Go check out King Richard. His work has just been really good as of late. It always is good, but man, these have been so concise. And the Delta States, all the stuff he covered, and more on his channel.
And again, it's like, hey, I'm grinding every day. Every day I'm on top of everything.
Notice that.
So, yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah,
you guys have a good night.
Yep.
You too.
See ya.
All right, guys. Well, that will close us out. As usual, any questions, comments, concerns, criticisms? I haven't had this scrolling. We've had a guest, but I'll put this up, and it's always in the description. Hit us up in our email. Hit us up in the comment section. I usually I've been trying to pose a question each week, and I didn't get to one today. I don't know if I can think of one, but maybe I'll put it in the description or something like that. But yeah, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. That was a really good, we went a little longer than we have been lately, but that's what happens when, you get together with good people and good conversation. It just flows. And well, trust me and trust Austin. I think we both could have gone to the wee hours. It's just that easy when you find people that you can talk to. And I suggest, if you don't have that in your life, seek it out. And hopefully it's easier to find the more we build a community between us, Zach, obviously King Richard, and more people. Hopefully we get them into the fold so that we, can bring to fruition the human element of this thing, which is what we were truly here for. I mean, there's these events and these big things and sports and all these things that take up the limelight sometimes. But don't forget the original mission that we have here, and that is to not only for ourselves, which is what we came together for, was for community. We were seeking community. We found each other, and now we want to, widen that and make it available for more people, because it can be hard to find community. And I'll let you have the final word, and then we'll close this bad boy up.
Yeah, it was a great show tonight. It was great to have King on for the third time, and it was it's been a longer episode. It's been a while since we've gone 3 or 4 hours. I mean, we've gone up to like almost 5 hours already. So 4 or 5 hours. We used to do a lot 3-hour shows and stuff. So yeah, a little bit longer than we've been doing. But yeah, it's great to get him on for a third time. And yeah, hopefully we turn it into something where it is like once a month he comes on or something, because there's always different things to talk about and different angles to talk about things from and stuff. Or hopefully we at least get some kind of guest. He's been the only guest we've had. He's been on 3 times. We're still waiting for a different guest. So if someone else wants to come on too, that'd be great. And yeah, it's something it'd be nice just to have, just a new person a month, or just one person, whether it's King or whoever, once a month or something, just to kind of broaden the horizon and stuff, just to add more people to the mix. And yeah, it should be pretty interesting. We're in fall now, and autumn and stuff, and winters, are coming and stuff. So a lot of things, things are just going to keep escalating. Things are just going to keep happening and stuff. And I mean, just look how much has changed and happened since the last time King was on, and and then the time before that. So it's like you just see how quickly, how fast things are happening and stuff. And it's just great to have these. Just it was like what less than 2 months ago he was on. So I mean, it's he hasn't been on since the very start of the year. So it's been a very long time. So yeah, it's just good to have other people get involved and stop by and share what they have to say. And I like listening to what other people have to say and have their intake and output on stuff. It's always good to have second opinions and stuff. And it's what's really needed, because I mean, yeah, like you said, community is extremely hard to find, and that's just it. I mean, it's like really, I mean, America for the most part is really just about making money. It's about money, it's not about family and friends and community and stuff like that. I mean, it's really, you got to leave the country and get out of here for that kind of stuff if you want to really live life at this point. It's just really about making money and stuff. So this is the little stuff that we have where we can try and etch around that, the just trying to scoot around what everyone's about and what most people want in life, what most people are after, just chasing money and chasing dollars and living the slave life, or the life of something that's money, something that's not even real. So we try and get the real, or the realness, to kind of just come together, and that's what we do. So I'm happy that we've had him on 3 times, and hopefully it just kind of keeps sparking things. That's what we need. We just need a spark to happen and continue. And we, like I said, if we can get more people, and the people that actually are kind of about the community. I know a lot of people, like I said, aren't, and it's very hard to find people that are and that want to really contribute and stuff. And if we could just find more people and have more people, that would be great. Because like I always say, what's if it's just me and you and King Richard and Zach and a few others fighting the good fight, it's like, what's the point of that? What's the purpose of that when it's just a few of us? We need more. We need more people. We need more people to the fight, and we're doing the only part that we can here in the States. It's pretty hard living here with the way things are, but we're making the most of it. So hopefully it's inspiring people, and hopefully we can get more to tag along.
Very well put. You heard them, guys. Get involved. We want you. There we go. All right, guys. Thanks again, and have a great week. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.